Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to the Suffolk Non-League show. We are live across YouTube, across Facebook, and across Twitter. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing amazingly well. I'm joined, as always, tonight by my colleague and good friend, Mr. Adam Wade. Adam, how are you doing, sir? You well?
I'm very well, thank you. I hope everyone else that's in the chat is doing well. And
yes.
How are you, James? You've had a big weekend.
God, big weekend would be an understatement. Jesus, if normally I'm talking about a big weekend, you know that some sort of beverages has been involved, but none of that this weekend. There's been a 4-day wedding bonanza, of which I finally stopped at 6 o'clock this evening. So I'm done with all of that. I've had enough of wedding talk. I'm here for football, as are you guys. And already people streaming in on the comment section. Hello, everybody. Let's get a few of your hellos in there. Hello, big up DeeJam. Yes, sir. How you doing? I hope you're well. We've got Dean Cooper. Love my Monday nights. Yes, this is exactly it. No more Monday blues.
No more EastEnders on Coronation Street.
We are here. This is the thing, Adam, when other shows let you down, when news outlets let you down, when people stop covering your non-league football, we are here, and we are going to be here for some time to come. Absolutely loving it. 100%. NMFC Jensen DeeJam Army, yes, absolutely love it. Get that in the comment section, everyone. DeeJam Army, love it. Connor Ellis, evening, mate. Hope you're doing well. Lau, good man. Great to hear that tune. Yes, it's becoming a bit of it's becoming very, very famous, isn't it? I've got Alex in the chat as well. Evening, mate. How you doing? Well, Tony Stone over on Facebook. Evening, fellas. Good man, the hat. Good to see you in the chat. Adam, you're going to love this comment. We love you, DeeJam. We do. Oh, DeeJam, we love you. And Adam, obviously.
Terrace chants going on for you. You've got a fan club. I hope we're getting that fan art that you had made for you on this show this week.
Right.
Your non-league butterfly.
Yes. Oh, forgot about that.
We need to sort that out.
Yes, completely forgot about that. Somebody made me a non-league butterfly picture, and I'll have to post it for you guys. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Fox in the box, evening chaps, official Westerfield, love it, guys. Thanks for joining. You guys had a great start to the season. Evening, guys. NFC Jensen again. Thoughts on Needham Markets Cup game tomorrow night? We will talk about that in a bit.
Big topic.
We will talk about that. Michael Crowford, good evening, boys. We've got RJF Ogati. Hello, Darren, in the chat. Daniel Barnard, evening, gentlemen. Love from the Claydon A boys. Hope you're doing well, Dan. Good to speak to you. Didn't read my name. I'm going to try and say it. Abdullah Abraham Akbar Rahman Abdul Jabbar. How was that? Is that all right? I think that was decent. Apologies if I butchered any of that, but I think that's pretty good.
I got sent a little link of you doing a Timu Pookie a video on FM, and you butchered his name a few years back. So I'm proud of you.
Did I?
Oh, my word. It was brilliant.
What did I say? Like Pucky or something like that?
It was real bad. Real bad.
Drew Kendall, evening, guys. Looking forward to this as usual, and hope you have a good weekend. Had 3 games this weekend. Jesus, mate, you are absolutely on a roll. Ben Smith, evening, both. Ben Moore, friend of the channel, evening, lads. Very interesting to see some results. Yeah, cool. There have been some absolutely
We've got some bangers to go through later on. There have been some
mental results. I was sat there on Saturday night when everyone else is like chatting and all that kind of stuff. I'm sat in the corner scrolling through the results like, this can't be true. Some of these are absolutely mental.
Do you know what, though, as well? The pain of penalties that some teams have gone through this last weekend.
Yeah.
Get that in the chat, because there's going to be some teams out there in our area that are going to felt hard done by.
Yeah,
Absolute pain.
We've got Evening Wenger from Alex Moss in the chat. Vinny Ford, some big talking points this weekend. 100% Vinny, massive talking points. Stuart, evening, gents. God, there's so many of you joining in. This is crazy. Bill Gay, rather. Evening, fellas. Sam's Helen says hi. Hi, Helen. That's future sister-in-law in the making there. Hi, Helen. Ben Moore, Felix though lost on penalties and now my local side. and in the club I coach at youth level are now playing hashtag. Really interesting. We will get into all of that. Can you believe this will be the last Monday Tony Morley will have 0 points in the no-show league?
I've heard rumours that he's not going to be at the next Stowe game to take his register. Went along to a Stowe game a couple of weeks back, and Tony was there actually taking a register of people for the competition that the club are officially posting with a branded poster.
Brilliant. We've got Irvin in the chat. Hello, mate. Hope you're doing well. And NFC Jensen, I'm back with my phone limping on 1%. I absolutely love that commitment that you are using the last of your phone battery to join into our show. That is what we are all about here. Absolutely love that. Adam, we have got an absolute bumper show to go through with everyone. Let's get some admin out of the way. First of all, though, if you are watching this on Twitter, give the tweet that is going out right now to say that the show is live a retweet. That would be massively appreciated. Let's get this spread around as much as we can. If you are watching this on Facebook, share the link to everyone that's on your page. That would mean absolutely massive amount if we can try and get this shared out as big as possible. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It's very easy to subscribe. All you need is a Gmail account. Just simply log in to YouTube with Gmail and then hit subscribe and turn your notification bells on so that you get an email to let us know, to let you know rather that we are going live. And then that also works for every video that comes out on the weekend. So you're not sitting there waiting for me to post out about the fact on Twitter that the video is there. You're there. It's there live, and you'll be informed about it.
It's live.
Exactly, and it's live, and with copyright striked once again. Thank you very much, Adam. We've got one warning left before the channel is gone. I am of course joking. So yeah, absolutely. If you could do all of that, that would be absolutely amazing. Let's get the other bits of admin out of the way before we get into some stuff. I just want to say a absolutely massive thank you, as always, to our Patreon and Ko-fi members. What you are doing is keeping this show going. It really, really does, because the software that we are using, it's not free. Me and Adam have decided we've set this up out of the goodness of our hearts. We've done this because we believe that this is the best software to give you guys the best show available. And for all of you who have made sure that this is something that is viable and that we can continue to do, your name will appear in every single video during our live streams and at the end of every video that we do on the channel. So that really, really does mean the world. So thank you very much to you guys over there. And then we've also got a new thing that Adam has been working ever so hard for. It is a thank you to all of our partner clubs. Adam, do you want to talk through this bit? Because this is more your area of expertise. And as people can see on there, to become a club partner, you need to contact Adam on Twitter. So Adam, away you go, mate.
This is like massively important, like to everyone like that's watching and everything. We've always relied on ourselves for marketing what we do. And I decided just to reach out to some clubs and say, like, everything that we're doing is about the community of football. The whole idea of this show is to raise the profile of local football and to bring us all together as fans. Like, you go to non-league football, you would enjoy a home game, you enjoy an away game. There's no them and us. It's everyone together. These clubs have already signed up to agree to be partners with us and to send out a tweet. Like, I think if you're interested in football in Suffolk or Norfolk, you will have heard of what's going on tonight. It's all down to these clubs to like really helping push it and joining in. As James has already said, like, one of the main things, just get in contact with me. I'll get you added onto the list, and it helps us like put out like requests for match reports and stuff, because the local papers aren't doing it anymore, and we're going to step in, take the mantle, and push your club forward as much as we can. But a massive thank you to every single club on this list that has joined in off the bat and become a partner club for the show.
Definitely. And just on top of that as well, I will say this to Adam, because he's the one that's getting all of your match reports as well. As we go through each league and we round up the results from those particular leagues, I think, Adam, it will be a good idea to give us a brief overview of what's happened, if you don't mind doing that from each one.
When I get them in, I will do so.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that is that, and I'm going to bring both of us back on screen now. we've got a lot to go through tonight. There are a lot of talking points, a lot of results to go through. We've had midweeks, we've had this weekend's action, and we've got again this week coming up. We've got games during the week and games on the weekend to look forward to and review. So let's just bring a few more of your comments. Coming up on here, we've got Dan, who's in the house. Dan Hiscock, evening gents, evening mate. Hope you're doing really, really well. Whole Muzzy 21 Upham, yes mate, love it. Luke Riley, first and would love to be a partner club. Well done, great idea. DM Adam after the show, mate, and he will make sure that we can do that. Yes, so we've got. Again, Michael's talked about it. Felix, though, commented that there are local newspapers no longer reporting these fixtures. Yes, we will get into that. We will be talking about that in a moment. Right, Adam, let's just go through a couple of bits of admin to talk about from last week's show. Let's just give a bit of an update for you guys.
This is big.
This is quite big. So I think what's really good about this show, and I'm going to pat myself and you on the back a little bit here, is that we are giving a much bigger voice to somebody who can just put out a tweet, I'm not happy about this, and it kind of disappears off into the ether. When you agree, if someone moans about something, it's just they'll see that online and they'll go, oh, okay, well, what does that mean to me? Just bin that off. Whereas if we talk about it and there's a show and someone is actually prepared to talk about it, rather than just sitting on the fence and going, well, I don't really know if we can kind of talk about it. We're prepared to put that out there. The moment we talked about this on last Monday's show, there was an update the following morning.
Yep, from Mary, who was mentioned really favourably as well on the show. So credit goes out to her for it. But if we can give these issues a platform to get an update out, then that's the best that we can hope for, I think, between all of us.
Yeah, definitely.
The show's about everyone, and we wouldn't have really known too much about WGS if it wasn't for the community chipping in and saying how much of an issue it is. And as you go through the show, if you've got an issue that's live for your club, throw it in, because we're not on the phone to you all week long.
Yeah, definitely. No, I completely agree with that. If there's topics you want us to talk about, if there are issues that are affecting your club, if there's something you want us to highlight and that is good and that is praised and that we should be promoting to make non-league football a better place, let us know and we will bring it up to you guys. So let's just bring you the statement that we had the following morning on here. So if I get rid of our bit. So this is the statement that we had sent out. So we are aware that over the past fortnight, some of our colleagues in grassroots football have reported issues with the speed and functionality of whole game system, which has also affected full-time and match day. This has come at a time when we know everyone is trying to prepare to get back to playing after the long period of lockdown. We sincerely apologise for the inconvenience this has caused and thank you for the additional time you have invested in registering your players. Additional time would be 3 or 4 minutes. It's not half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, but I get their point. At the beginning of lockdown, we had anticipated these challenges with the whole game system and took significant steps to address them. We invested in greater server capacity. I don't think many people have seen that. Expanded our grassroots service desk by 50% to resolve user queries. And we've got over 10,000 volunteers. Unfortunately, the unprecedented demand created by a record 83,000 teams. This is when people start spouting numbers and it means absolutely nothing, because there have been clubs folding left, right and centre as a result of COVID. So there is less demand as far as I'm aware and as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not going to have anybody come at me with facts and figures. There are less clubs. There are less people to register. It's that's just what it is. But anyway, looking ahead, we have invested in and will be shortly launching a new platform for player registration, which will make the process simpler and quicker, as well as addressing speed and performance issues. All of your existing player records in whole game systems will be migrated onto the new system, minimizing the volunteer work required. We are excited by what this will have to offer to all of our grassroots game and look forward to rolling this out in the near future. In the meantime, we can assure you that we are doing everything we can within the limitations of the current system to help you complete the player registration as quickly as possible. Adam, thoughts on that?
Well, the big thing is clubs are getting a new system. And as fans, you'll look on that article and think, I'm not really sure how that's too relevant to me. But the relevance is it's key for the running of our clubs. The clubs we support need that system as their back end. So to be getting something new, a bit more server space, something that's going to revolutionise it and actually make it better, brilliant. Yeah. But based on the performance of the current system, I think we need to cross fingers and hope it works out.
Yeah,
let's not count the chickens yet. But the good news is there's something new going to be provided there.
Yeah, I think, and I said this on last week's show, I think when people have an issue with something, they want to be at least acknowledged about that issue.
Yeah.
Rather than just simply ignored. And I think I speak on behalf of everyone when I say that. If there isn't an immediate fix available, at least an acknowledgement of the fact that, we're aware that stuff is going on. It's when people get ignored and when people are told you're wrong, that's when I think people get really frustrated. So the fact that what we're doing is giving that, as I said, as a platform and as a step to say, right, this is not working. We need some ideas to freshen this up. We need something to be done. Whether or not this was already in the background beforehand, I don't know. I would imagine it probably would have been. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt there. But it's just good that we are able to, to make awareness of it. And it's hopefully if they can get us an update, then happy days. We'll see. I don't know. I remain skeptical until I see it. But again, as Adam said, you guys are the ones on the front line. You know exactly what you're having to deal with. And the amount of times I see people complaining about it now, this last week in particular, and we've seen ties being postponed and games players can't register for clubs and people dropping out of competitions because of it. So something needs to be done.
Out of cup competitions because they can't use the system, which is utterly ridiculous. The proof is going to be how quickly they can get a new system to market, because otherwise those are very, very hollow words.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got a couple of people joining in with the chat. Dan Hiscock has said Wickham would like to be a partner club. He's going to message you, Adam. Great, absolutely fantastic. Really, really appreciate that. Macca is in the building. Evening, lads. Hope you're doing really, really well, mate. Ben, I will get onto your comment in a bit. We've had our thoughts, Adam, haven't we, about Carlos Edwards signing for? But should we just quickly mention it?
Yeah, we can do it. We can go over that as a quick one now. Personally, I don't think it's a good move from Berry. I can get why from a squad experience point of view, but I don't know if he's going to be a week in, week out.
So you don't? Oh, okay. I was going to say from him, I don't think it's a good move for him, not for the club. I think for the club, it's brilliant. I think it's him. I think it's him that is going to lose out.
What, through game time?
I just think you're in a position at Woodbridge where you were learning your craft as a manager.
Yeah.
You were getting all of your early mistakes out as a manager at a young age now.
Yeah.
And I know that you want to play at the highest level possible.
Manage anymore? I don't think it is.
Sorry?
42 isn't young to manage anymore.
Well, no, it's not. But when you're in your early parts of your job, surely you'd want to be getting your mistakes over and done with now. I mean, when I first stepped foot in management at work, I was 20 years old. And I'm glad I stepped in there then, where I got all of those mistakes over and done with, rather than now, at the age of 30, stepping into management for the first time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just think that I don't understand it. I get why, as a playing side of things, you'd want to be at the highest level you possibly can. I think it doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense.
We all get non-league enough, though, to realise that if Carlos Edwards came knocking on someone's door, he'd probably get a job.
Yeah.
Pedigree.
Yeah.
So I don't think, if that's the level he wants to manage, I don't think he's got too much to worry about.
Yeah, definitely. So nice one, Ben. I was going to save that till a little bit later on, but we thought, why not answer it now? Tony has said on here, Ipswich Star and East Anglian Daily Times / Greenwood site IT so bad every link of theirs you click on comes up with a security warning. The correspondent log on hasn't worked for months. Is embarrassing. And I think a lot of local newspapers are now, from what I've seen, are starting to withdraw their coverage of non-league football, which at a time when non-league football needs it more than ever, a lot of people only buy the local paper to hear about their local team.
Correct. And I think it's all about the decline of print as well.
Yeah. Missed a massive trick there.
But that's what this kind of thing is for.
Exactly it. Mark Watts, sorry I am late. Don't worry about it. You're here. That's the most important thing. We don't punish tardiness on this show. We are glad that you are in the building, Mark. That's all we want.
There's room for everyone.
And NFC Jensen says it's fine as long as you join in as part of a DeeJam Army. Love
We
it.
need to get like pin badges made or something.
Can you imagine?
DeeJam Army pin badges.
Can you imagine? DJ, you can have a picture of me on a butterfly with DeeJam Army underneath it. I'm not sure how well that would go down, but we'll. Adam doesn't approve.
No, I wouldn't be putting one on my hat. Put it that way.
Just in regards to the topic that we're talking about before with the WGS, that's just an attempt to appease us. Yeah, you're probably right. To be fair, probably are right. Vinny, we will be discussing the Needham Market game because we've already had NFC Jensen talking about it. We will go on to that one. Tony, instead of being able to submit a 250-word match report and then a full set of club notes, I've been told if I send in 50 words on a Saturday night, they'll try and include it in a non-league review. Interesting. That's down to them. Can't you publish a paper called DeeJam Un?
Good grief.
That sounds like a North Korea dictator, doesn't it? DeeJam Un. Oh God, what's that DeeJam Un up to now?
I'll just be Adam Ill.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Drew Kendall, good news. Just had the go-ahead from Needham to be partner. Sad to hear papers no longer covering clubs. Personally prefer it to hearing opinions on Ipswich Town. Well, I think there would be a lot of people that would agree with that, even though they did get a win at the weekend. But that's by the by. You've
got to remember that the papers are also going to go to their biggest market and they're going to see it as the top club in the area.
Yeah.
Like, they have
unfortunately so.
Reasons. That's, you're going to hear a lot about Ipswich, but people have got to read about it because no one's going to watch it anymore.
Yeah, definitely. Sam has just simply said logo incoming. Oh dear, I can't wait to see that one. Right, let's move on to a rather sad topic that we are going to be talking about very briefly. Many of you will have seen over the weekend that the goalkeeper for Witton Town, who's on loan from Bury Town, George Bugg, suffered a double leg break. The game was halted for a long period of time whilst he was receiving medical treatment, and there has been a Just Giving page set up to raise funds for him whilst he is off work. We've donated towards it. If you go over to Witton United's Twitter page, it is available over on there. If any of you guys want to put some money towards it, because it's an absolutely horrible incident to happen, then that would be massively appreciated. As I said, go over to Witton United's Twitter page, and you will find the link to be able to donate on there. You spoke to James over the weekend, didn't you? What did James Bloomfield, for those of you who don't know, coach at Witton United, what did James have to say about the incident? Because I can imagine when you're there, it's a horrific thing to witness.
Well, the massive props go to the physio for DeeJam, who stayed with him the whole time, made sure everything was okay. Obviously, over the phone, got support as to how to help him, and that I think there was a lot of sitting back to back and making sure everything was as calm as possible. And by all accounts, he was in good spirits, texting his girlfriend a bit of banter whilst he was laying on the floor about what he wouldn't be getting up to that evening after breaking his leg in two places.
Lovely.
So, he was in good spirits, but I think as soon as it took an hour and 15 minutes, I think, to be able to get him into an ambulance and away, just because of the situation, and that's pretty it's the way it is at the moment. But that's a long while to wait, and he was losing a lot of blood, so that's not going to be something that he's going to recover from quickly. They've already said, and it's pretty obvious he ain't playing this season.
No.
Just these are players that have sat out now for 7 or 8 months, and you come back, played a couple of games.
You forget that part, don't you?
Played a couple of games, and then he's not going to be playing for another year, and it's going to be a tough one. It's a case of coming back stronger, but it's tough, really tough for him, mentally more than anything. So it's all about just making a good recovery and making sure he's in the best place.
Yeah, definitely. And as I said, if you want to donate, because they are trying to help him whilst he is going to be off work for a period of time, a Just Giving page has been set up. As I said, reminder, go over to Witten United's Twitter page, scroll down a couple of tweets, and it is available there. You'll have to forgive me whilst I quickly search for the name of the person who just set it up. Bear with me 2 seconds. I want to give the guy a shout out because it was all his idea.
Like literally, like if there's,
Ben Mayhew, that's the one.
Yeah.
Ben Mayhew. He was the one.
A tough time for it. Like any support, I think is going to be massively appreciated. Like another big shout needs to go to DeeJam as well, who put in their draw money. Any money they put it all into a fund to help him as well. DeeJam have been like amazingly good, and it just shows the togetherness that you get at non-league.
Because their physio came over and helped him, didn't he? From what I heard. So massively big shout out to those guys. Vernon, clapping emojis. We just want to give some awareness to it. That's all we want to do. Yes, that is a terrible injury. Drew Kendall, wish him a swift recovery. He's a great goalkeeper. Same. And some praying emojis coming in from NFC Jensen. Yeah, I think we all just wish him the best of luck. It's never nice to report on, but unfortunately, it happened. And as long as the community can kind of rally around him, I suppose that's the most important thing that can come as a result.
I think, like the thing that we take for granted is you go and watch football and you're just like there having a laugh. It's a bit of entertainment. He's gone out on his Saturday in a freak accident. He ain't going to be working for a good while, earning income. He's not going to be playing his football for a good while.
Next year has changed dramatically for him.
Exactly. So, like, any support that anyone can give him is huge.
Yeah, definitely. Let's just see if any more of your comments have come in. Amazing lad, great goalkeeper from Shane. Obviously you would know
first, at the time, so
first hand on that one. Let's have a look on here. Drew says, last I noticed this, around 25% of getting to the target. So very, very close then. It was on 68%, I think, when I donated this afternoon.
They made the initial £1,000 already. They're over £1,000. So target's been lifted to £1,500. So
yeah, definitely. It's a great example of togetherness in non-league. 100% agree with that, mate. 100% agree with that. Bill Case, not sure of details, but sometimes it takes time to make sure the patient is comfortable before they even attempt to put them into the ambulance. I think that was the case.
Yeah.
From what we've been told anyway. So again, all of us from the Suffolk Non-League show, we wish George the speediest of recoveries, and I hopefully it's not too long before we see you on a football pitch, mate. Really, really do wish you all the best on that one. Another incident we don't want to talk about, but unfortunately it has been sent in. It has been requested. There was an alleged incident between the at Claydon versus Bourne Vale this weekend.
Please don't speculate in the comments as to what happened. Just
please.
That there.
Yeah, please don't, because this an incident has taken place between several people, and you may well have seen it on social media this weekend. Unfortunately, what's happened as a result of that is now a police matter. We will, of course, talk about this when we have more details and when things are more concrete, but whilst it is an alleged allegation, we will not be commenting on it in a massive amount of detail. And the reason why I mentioned this and the reason why I'm saying it like this is because I don't want people to be putting it in the comments and saying, are you going to be talking about this incident? We will, as and when we are allowed to. And I think Adam will kind of back me up on that point.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's move on from that one. Never nice to see, but unfortunately it is something that people have requested that we go through. So there we go. Adam, I think if we move on to our main kind of talking point, and this is where we want you guys to get involved in the comment section, and then we'll start looking at some of the results and fixtures from over the week. Do you agree?
Yeah, if I just want to quickly touch on a comment. I don't know if I can load it in from Russell at Bury, the chairman.
Oh, yeah.
So just saying that, like, again, another fantastic gesture from the club. Wow. That he's going to be getting his match fees until he goes back to work. So that's huge. That
is really good.
Really, really good.
Really, really good. From George Bell's perspective, massive props to Bury on that part, because again, there could be a situation where people at the time are short on money, don't want to, non-league clubs are struggling enough as it is. So that is a very, very good gesture. And I think that's massively appreciated. So well done. Well done. So this is a topic that has rumbled on throughout the podcast that we've done during the pandemic, and we had plenty of people talking about it. It's a topic that I've covered, and I've already given my 2 cents on it. But last season's cup's still going ahead, and we've had a couple of people actually DM me during the week about the season being null and void, but bans still being upheld. Adam, what are your thoughts on, first of all, the cup's still going on, and also about bans as well?
Well, to start with, I didn't think this was going to be too much of an issue. I'm going to put that out there. I thought, the cup's carrying on. Good thing to have competition. Now the league has got started, and it's kind of clicked with me that we've started the league later. Then before the semi-finals have been played, we've already drawn the first round of this year's competition. I'm talking about like the Suffolk Cups and stuff. And then there's like the issue of the new players that teams have signed are now cup tied. Suspensions are still being carried over. I think there's still people that have been out about 7 months due to a 3-match ban. We're getting to the point where it's utterly ridiculous. And you just think, okay, there is no prize money for these local cup competitions. Why are we bothering?
Yeah.
The season was null and void. Those cups were an inherent part of the season. And I get the opportunity to win silverware is great, and the opportunity to give clubs 2 stabs at it. But with all of the COVID delays that are already happening, and I know that's also a bit temperamental because now some clubs have worked out a way to play through them, which caused a right upset in the FA Cup at the weekend. I just don't really understand what the point is now. You're just going to see a load of teams that are just fudged together with whoever's left. And I need to be careful because I don't want to take anything away from the youth players that are now going to get a chance, because it is a great opportunity for them.
Yeah.
But in my mind, those cup competitions were about the teams that were assembled last season and have since been disassembled by everything that's happened. There are some clubs that may or may not be in those competitions that don't even have the bare bones of what was there last year.
Yeah. I mentioned this during my SIL preview show when I was talking about the new seasons and who was going to be in what leagues in that. I don't understand how you can say a season is null and void. So Cranes are not awarded the title. Teams are not relegated. Certain teams miss out on promotion because they can't play their games in hand to see whether or not they could be in contention to get promoted. How you can say that none of that counts.
But everyone has to go off because contracts end and all the rest of it as well.
Yeah. So none of that matters. None of it matters, including teams further up the pyramid who were already promoted. And we've talked about it already on previous shows, how none of that matters. And yet the cup competitions are still allowed to go ahead. That's what bothers me. It really, really does grind me. And I don't know why it grinds me because I'm not involved at any of the clubs. It doesn't mean anything to me personally, but I just don't understand how you can decide that one thing stands and one thing doesn't.
Do you know what's also a bit of a joke?
It just makes sense.
If players have been suspended due to a red card or whatever already in the season, I know there's only going to be a few. Well, this game counts as one of those suspension games that you miss. So other teams in the league are at detriment because you've got an extra game where that person doesn't have to play, where they can't play. So there's all these things that are being brought forward that are just pointless. And if we're not careful, we are going to get to a situation where from the end of March, early April, we're going to be playing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, week in, week out.
Yeah.
And that people will lose interest, quite frankly, because they won't be able to go to every game.
In terms of the bans being upheld, what's your kind of position on that? This is where I honestly don't know how I feel, because
the problem is that I suppose like the incidents happened and they're saying that people are getting banned because they're not playing within the regulations of the game. So that's the angle they'll come from. But I think if you scrapped all the bans but didn't worry about refunding the players, I think a lot of them would rather just play and get underway. I think it's been enough of a punishment that people have had to miss goodness knows how many games. Because the season was null and void, I don't understand how those games didn't count as being played but zeroed.
Yeah.
So technically, have they actually expired that ban in that time anyway? I think they'd probably say legally no, because everything counted as nothing.
Yeah.
But it's very frustrating, like the fact that they have to count them. Like, I completely understand that the FA has counted them, but should they have done? I think they should be like, let's just get everyone playing again. Like, let's welcome everyone back to football. And I don't think many people have said, well, that's not fair. He should be out for 3 games. Yeah. But let's give teams a squad and let's go. Let's get the game underway.
Yeah, exactly. Let's start reading out some of your comments, because they are flying in. Dean Cooper, it's all about the money, 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 as Jesse J once said. 100%. You're not wrong, Dean. You're not wrong. That surely is the only reason why these things are still going ahead, because it's not about certain teams being in a cup and winning a cup. It's not about that. Let's be honest. It's not. Do relevant authorities really care who wins a cup?
No, and the FA is earning from these competitions, not losing, because they're not playing prize money out. So absolutely not.
Do you know what really has wound me up this weekend? Is the fact that the FA Vars is kicking off very soon, and yet they still haven't played last season's final, and they've postponed that even later, I think into October now.
Yeah, they wanted to use that as a fan test event, didn't they? I mean, like, we all know after what got announced last week that isn't going to happen.
But why would you be using it as a fan test event?
Well, yeah, money. Of course they would. Like, that's a chance to earn money, because they've got to pay prize money out. It wouldn't surprise me if they say, oh, we can't do a test event, so we'll scrap it. Imagine the uproar then. Mm-hmm. They've literally dug a grave for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. Vinnie Ford, the ban's being upheld makes no sense. It's all about the money. I think this is going to be a continuing trend between what you guys are saying in the comment section. Alex, I had a nightmare trying to raise a side for a semi-final and had one player banned. Absolutely ridiculous on that part. Luke Riley, no prize money for the clubs. and sure someone gets their prize money. Luke, I couldn't possibly comment or speculate on that, but the chances are you're probably right, mate. Alex, but had to use last year's players, but half had left. So what do you do in that situation? This is exactly what we're talking about.
All about the other teams that are at the clubs, but it's just not the same. Those cup competitions are about last year's teams. And like a lot of teams in the furlough none, we'll see a rotation of about 5 or 6 players as a minimum. Some I don't even know if we've got a squad left that ended last season with. Yeah, very true. We've got Ryan, who simply says the FA don't care about players missing months of football. It's all about the fines to them. It does help with a lot of things, doesn't it? With a lot of things that are funded. Geordie simply the cash emoji, which is just brilliant. Can't really say much more than that, can you, mate? Vinny, once again, Suffolk FA have been asked for an explanation for their thinking behind upholding bans, but haven't responded to any of them. Well, hopefully, if somebody is watching this, if you are one of the people that are currently live, hello. I hope you're paying attention to this conversation. People. I hope you are paying attention. If you would like to provide us with a statement so that we can read out next weekend for our audience to listen to, that would be very much appreciated. Yeah.
Have a think. Have a think. That's all I'm going to say. Just have a think, guys. Have a think. God, I'm really hyped up today. Ben Moore, surely the league have to take some blame in terms of fixture congestion. I know COVID didn't help much, but seriously, teams have totally changed from last year. So why still play last year's cup? It baffles me. Ben, I 100% agree with you, and it's exactly the point I've been making all summer long.
I don't even think we've seen anything in terms of fixture congestion yet, and I reckon there's a lot of managers in the chat. I reckon there's some concern.
Yeah. 100%. And we've got another topic to talk about on another week about other cup competitions. I think I'm going to say for later on, but yeah, it's going to mount up. Dean Cooper, the worst thing is after the whole COVID situation and teams struggling financially, they now decide to put fines up. How on earth can you have a season null and void yet still have bans, fines, etc.? Again, this is where I struggle, I have to admit, because I kind of get what you said, Adam. The incidents did take place, but the results took place as well, and they've been told that they're scrapped.
Well, yeah.
You see what I mean? It's a bit of a... Well, how can the result not matter, but the personal individual fine matter?
It's difficult to put that into an everyday example, isn't it? It's not like, you go down the street, punch someone in the head, and you get stuck in prison for a month. There's no way to wind that back. Do you know what I mean? There's no way you can say what would happen. Like, unless you go in a DeLorean or something, like it's utterly ridiculous. There's no way of making an example out of it.
It's all about Bernard's watch, mate.
Bernard's watch.
Get that bad boy, and you'll be set. You'll be set. If any of you lot remember Bernard's watch, I'm either too old for some of you, or some of you will be, of a certain age where you wouldn't have watched that show. There we go. Let's move on. Shane, joke. To be honest, if Cups carried forward, then League should officially finish season on points per game or similar.
Please don't get back into that, Shane.
We've talked about this so many times. It's again, it goes back to what I've said. If you're going to null and void the League, you null and void the Cups. It's as simple as that in my eyes. I don't care what anybody says. Nothing is going to change my mind on that.
It's odd that they've made a decision. It's just it's basically like pick and mix. It's like, we're the Cups because they're our favourites, but the League is just a nonsense that they can do that again. Unless you're a few divisions higher, that matters because there's money there. So we'll do that one too.
Yeah.
The
League season that's been unfortunately left behind is the Smarties of the pick and mix. Everything else has been taken, but the Smarties still remain.
And white chocolate mice, they're nonsense.
What? No.
It's disgusting.
We're going to have words after this. I'm not happy with that comment. They're unbelievable. Macca, Cash, second that. Dan Snell, all about sponsorships that were paid to Suffolk FA for last season. That's a very good point. Sponsorships still have to be upheld.
That would have been an awkward boardroom conversation, wouldn't it? We're thinking about cancelling this year, but we paid $5,000 to sponsor it. Oh, okay, we'll play it anyway then. Never mind for everyone else.
Yeah. Yes. So we've got season void. So Cup should have been 2. 100% agree. FA have now increased fines too. I'd love to know what they've increased them from and to. If somebody can let me know for next week's show, that would be very much appreciated.
So someone said on Twitter earlier, it's 50 quid for a red. Is that actually true? Because that seems high.
Yeah. If somebody could let me know, DM me on Twitter, and I will make sure that we talk about it in next week's show as a separate incident, because I think that is something that does need to be talked about. I can see, what are you thinking, Adam? You're smiling.
I've just checked the comments box out of the corner of my eye, and someone's unsubscribing because I said that white mice are disgusting.
The fact that you've lost me a subscriber for a wrong comment is absolutely disgraceful. We will be having words after the show. Don't worry, audience. I can assure you of that. Tony Stone, I make Dan right. It's about not giving the sponsorship money back. It's a point I hadn't really thought about, but still, I don't know. That needs to be a conversation that you have. I don't really know how you kind of play that one, because
surely
maybe you give partial money back. I don't know. Sorry.
Surely a good enough relationship exists with the sponsors to say, just look at what you're doing to the game. You wanting to make sure that your sponsorship gets fulfilled is going to mess up the next season. The quality of the competition this year will suffer because of it. It's going to suffer anyway. The quality of all of the competition is going to suffer a bit because they've got to get more games in. I think the FA only allocated league games 5 Tuesday nights. They should be thinking smarter and doing more midweeks and juggling the Saturdays around to give breaks. Yeah.
Very good point. Ben Moore says, just ridiculous. As ABBA once said, money must be funny in a rich man's world. We've got ABBA, we've got White Mice, we've got Berners Watch. It is all happening in tonight's show.
You had Jesse J going on earlier, mate.
Sorry?
You had Jesse J going earlier as well on this same topic.
Yeah, I did. I'm bringing out all the references, and so are you guys. Absolutely love it. But those games would have been served if the season had continued, so it doesn't make any sense. 100% agree with you. Dean, if it's null and void, it didn't happen. Simple as that. Alex, the rules are different in SIL Cups to County Cups, can cause confusion. Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I do follow the Cup competitions quite closely, but even I have to admit I get confused from time to time with it. Unbelievable. Portman Rovers FC, a patron of the channel. Thanks for getting involved, mate. Berners Watch, absolute classic. Could never understand the dull things he did with the ability to stop time. That is a discussion point for a different show. And I think we would well and truly get demonetized if we had an
adult rating for Bernard's Watch.
if we had a discussion talking point about Bernard's watch. D. Cooper, Bernard's watch. Wow, this was epic. Yes, it was. But again, I have to agree. He massively underplayed that hand he had. Sean had to be all or nothing. We still got to play the null and void League Cup final.
Is that what it's going to be known as, Sean? It's just a null and void League Cup final. Get
that I've just got to your comment, unsubscribing, White Mice are unreal. Yes, Dan, 100%. 100%. And we've got a couple of people who are putting in comments about the fines on here. So we've got Geordie who says yellows are £10 and now 12. £10 now to 12. And Tony said bookings have gone from 10 to 12. I don't know how I would have fared if I was still playing, because you've seen me play, Adam. Do you think I would have been getting a few yellow cards?
Well, depending on the level, I think you had just lived in the sin bin. That's more to the point. You weren't one for a while. You're more one just to keep gobbing up all the while. But I think you might be all right, because we don't, sin bin. Actually, the sin bin has been more. It's been used a lot more this season. But I'm not going to talk about it. But yeah. But that's where you would live.
In the sin bin.
In the bin.
Right. Okay. So I wouldn't be in okay, so I wouldn't be getting fined. I'd be okay. That's fine. That's fine. I can live with that.
Not spending money either, so
that okay, that's not true. That's not true. Me and you were having serious words after this show. You were on thin ice, my friend. Thin ice. Dan Snell, FA have got to claw some money back to cover all the grants they've handed over the summer. I don't know if you mean that as a cheeky comment or whether or not you mean that as a genuine comment, but yeah.
They have gone grant crazy. Like the amount of grants that are flying about to actually cover health and safety measures for COVID. They kind of had to do it, but
you have a grant. You have a grant. You have a grant. We all have grants. It's incredible. It's all flying off over here.
It's amazing how many batches of between £500 and £5,000 they can manufacture when people get ill. Yeah. But when people want to develop the club, those are nowhere to be seen. Again, shouldn't go too far into that.
Yeah, definitely. Drew Kendall, Adam's getting sacked in the morning. I wouldn't say sacked, but he's going to have a stern telling off. Sacked in the morning, laughing emojis. We'll talk. Bourneville reserves the Suffolk FA raised the price for cars the day after posting about clubs struggling financially. Did they really? That's mental. So Dean Cooper says 10 to 12 for yellow and 40 quid for a red.
Wow.
Surely that's not right. Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a hell of a Christmas party. That's a hell of a Christmas. That's mental. I can't believe that. That's actually really shocked me. I didn't realize it was that much. And maybe I'm just massively out of touch with the game, but that just seems like an extortionate amount. Wow. We move on. Official Westerfield. When you promote teams, it's not a null and void season. I mean,
you can take that two ways as well, because when people go out and promote teams and it raises their profile, you've still made some progress thinking outside the box. Don't want to get really meta on everybody, but as long as you do something, and if you look back at that year and your club has done something to grow, it's not null and void, is it?
Yeah, there we go. Bourneville reserves again. They called it league restructure rather than promotion and relegation. That's how they got around it. That's a very valid point. It's a very valid point. Lau, rumour has it Stowe are so short tomorrow. Rick is putting me up front with Josh Mayhew. Brilliant. I still love that.
Yeah, you'd love to see it, wouldn't you?
Ben Moore said, let's have a new segment called Retro Time where we talk about old non-league and old shows from our childhood. Oh.
Get the Inspector Gadget theme song out.
We could be here for 2.5 hours if we added that on to the end of the show. NFC Jensen Adams definitely getting sacked in the morning. If you don't see him for a while, you know what's happened.
Well, I'm not going to be here next week, so just to put it out there, that it's pre-planned.
Yeah. He hasn't told me till now. Adam, don't mention the sin bin. That's definitely the worst idea they've come up with. I think it depends on who you're asking. If you ask the referees, it's the best idea since the red card. If you ask players and officials, it's the most infuriating thing you can possibly think of.
It's when a goalkeeper goes in the sin bin, isn't it? You love to see it. You can't make a sub, so just got to quickly botch your goalkeeper in for 10 minutes.
Yeah. My brother has weighed in on the yellow card for me debate. Yellow card for mental clearances and time wasting, if in doubt. 100%. If you need to run down the clock, there's nothing wrong with a good old hoof up in the air. It wastes a few seconds. You get yourself composed and organised. I don't see the problem with it. Maybe it's just a bit old school. I don't know, but that's my game. Michael says, "Is the sin bin still going?" Let's not talk about the sin bin. Let's not.
Yes, it is.
It is still going. I saw one in my first game.
I think second game back in their games as well.
Yeah.
So
we've had Varian Proctor over on Twitter. Sin bin is pointless. Yeah, I potentially would have to say on that one as well. It depends on who's enforcing it. That's the big problem, and that's where my issue still lies with it. Official Westerfield, £5 fine at Westerfield for a sin bin. I think you maybe need to increase that maybe to £8, mate. Seeing as other places are increasing their prices, maybe you should do the same. Dean Cooper, it's all about money. They're pumping back into grants. Red card, fine, all depends for the offence. Again, I need somebody to send a spreadsheet if they can over this stuff. Ryan has said £75 to go to tribunal. Wow.
That's worth it.
Tony Stone has said someone on Twitter did an analysis of the fines money Essex FA lost last season with the introduction of sin bins, reducing the number of bookings. A convenient 20% increase in fines to cover? ?
Well,
very interesting.
Very somehow.
Adam, how do you want to answer that one?
I think if I'm being very cynical, I'd say, yeah, literally, they've got to find a way of making the money. Like, I've got a business head on my shoulders. If you're going to lose it out one end, you're going to find a way of pouring it in the other. And if you get booked, you've got to pay the fine, haven't you? No one's going to... Literally, we all moan about this yellow card thing, but no one is actually going to retire from football because they've now got to pay £12 instead of 10.
Ryan has said it's to pay the old fellas to try and work out how to use it. Oh, dear me. D Cooper plus admin fee of £15.
Do you know what? That admin fee, if you break that down to an hourly rate that it takes to register the red card on WGS, that works out to £1 an hour that you'd get to register it.
Brilliant. Bourneville reserves the FA can't afford these grants because of the years they've overfined and underfunded grassroots. Hard hit stuff from Bourneville reserves there. Mark Watts, I had 2 players sent off last season, both £40 each. AFC Your Shirts over on Twitter. Thanks for getting involved, guys. Thanks for joining the show. Are we playing a senior side in the Junior Cup?
We are playing. You missed the first bit off, mate.
Oh, we are playing.
We are actually playing a senior side in the Junior Cup. Joe. Interesting.
Very, very interesting. Make it happen. Our Vets League's getting stronger with ex-pros getting involved in the game. I think you have to say yes on that one. I'd need to do my research into it.
I've spoken to some people that play Vets football and they gave up because Witten was so strong.
Really?
They said there's no point. They just can't keep up with them.
Wow.
It's just a waste of time.
Wow. And they give stadium bans at SIL level. How ridiculous as well. Interesting.
Disguise.
Sorry?
Surely you could get away with it if you went in disguise. I mean, who's actually going to say spot you?
Or if you just stayed in the car park and just shouted instructions from there.
Be like that guy that was I can't remember what team it was the other day where he got a ladder out and just looked over the top. It's a Crew, I think.
Yes, I think you could be right. But that was a great discussion point. That was absolutely incredible. Thank you, everyone, for getting involved in that. Again, I'm going to reiterate the point. If you want us to talk about a certain topic on next week's show, if there's anything you want us to discuss, let myself or Adam know via DMs over on Twitter. Let us know on Facebook, and also put a comment into the YouTube sections as well. Anything you want us to go through and talk about, we will be happy to do so. As I said, just drop it to us, and we'll see if we can try and fit it into next week's show. Although, having said that, if Adam is away next weekend, it's probably best to DM over to myself rather than Adam.
But I can forward things over. Don't worry. Whatever suits.
Yeah, either way, let us know. Adam, shall we get into some of the results from
Super Six first.
Oh, yes.
Super Six.
See, this is why you're here.
Now.
This is why you're here. I can't.
Yeah, I am your agenda.
Are you sure you want to be absent next week?
Well,
because the whole thing can fall apart without you, mate. The whole thing can fall apart.
I definitely can't do it. So I'll be in deep trouble with the wife.
So you guys asked for it. We gave it to you in the comment section a couple of weeks back. We said, do you want us to do a Super Six? You said yes. So introducing, with a small drum roll, the Suffolk Super Six. Here we are, Adam. I can't. This is going to be absolutely mental. I am now about to copy over a link, which I'm going to put into the comment section now. So if you are watching this on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whichever platform, you will now see a link which you can go onto to register your predictions for the games that we have selected here. So this week's fixtures are Sheringham versus Newmarket in the FA Vars. We've got Galston versus Clacton in the Furlough Prem. Debenham versus Norwich CBS in the North for the Furlough None. Claydon versus Ransoms in the Senior. Sporting 87 versus Wickham in Div 1. And Bramford United versus Witnesham Wasps in Div 3. We have selected fixtures from each of the divisions and cup ties just to try and keep things a bit fair and inclusive for everybody from this weekend's thing. So we don't want to be putting one league over the other, etc. We're going to be as inclusive as we possibly can.
Mix a bit of Norfolk and Suffolk football in there as well, because we're getting support across 2 counties.
Exactly.
As well. So we're trying to include as much as we can. Like, I think this is a really good roll of the dice for the first few. Like, get your results in, fill the form out, and it will all come to me and I'll be able to monitor it. It will be cut off, obviously, on Friday at some point, but it's really easy. On the form, you just literally write the result underneath it. But join in, have fun with it, and we'll keep it growing. You will have to copy and paste the link, I think. Like some people said, you can't click the link. You'll need to copy and paste it out if you can't.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, yeah, if you go onto that link, it just asks you to fill in basic details, your name. I think that's it, isn't it? Just your name?
Name and email address. I need the email address to actually log each person individually.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not distributing your email address.
Third parties is going on to Suffolk FA. No matter who comments, they're all going to hear about it. No, we're joking. Of course, we're joking. If you want to get your predictions in, it's just going to be a little bit of fun that we're doing throughout the season. We're going to be doing it as a bit of a league table amongst everybody. I've done my predictions. I've sent those over to Adam during the week. So we've had a bit of a chat about it, and I've already sent him over my stuff. If you guys want to go up against me and Adam, which would be quite interesting to see, we are going to be doing some sort of maybe giveaway at the end of the season. I don't know. We haven't really discussed that.
I'll sort something out with somebody so we can do a giveaway. I'll find someone to partner up with so we can do a decent giveaway.
Yeah, exactly. But if you want to get involved, it'll be nice to have a little bit of competition against you guys, just to see who can call the results out. Drew's already getting involved.
We've literally just had 5 responses straight off the bat. So
really, oh, that's good.
All good. My phone is pinging constantly because people are getting involved and having a go. Like, it really doesn't matter how rubbish you are at this, because I really appreciate that people are not going to know all the leagues, but just bang a score in and have a laugh with it. You get one point for getting the result going the correct way, win, lose, or draw, basically. And 3 points if you are able to correctly guess the score. Yeah.
So just to re-emphasize that, if you get the result right, it's 1 point. You get the correct score line, it's 3 points. Now, 3 points, I think, is going to be very, very hard to get right. Based on some of the score lines we had this weekend. Yeah, it is going to be incredibly difficult. I've just had a great suggestion. I think you're going to like this, Adam. Maybe an FA grant for the winner of the Super Six.
Again, I'll get in touch with Sheepshanks. I mean, he's on speed dial. He should have a spare £5,000 ranked. I'm sure one of the clubs haven't taken a COVID grant. So we'll call 5K the prize money.
Brilliant stuff. We've gone for so there we go. Dean done mine. Brilliant stuff. Michael sorted. Drew Kendall, it's just for a laugh. Going to be fun. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. If you want to get involved, as I said, link. Tony's done it as well. Super Six submitted, which is brilliant. If you want to get involved, just copy and paste the link, go over to it and submit your predictions. Yeah. Let's see what
by like the ones that we've had in, I think it must take about 2 minutes to do with that, because within about 30 seconds of us bringing the slide up, I had results in.
Brilliant.
So this should be simple for anybody to do. I did not make it complicated because I've never used a Google form in my life.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Stuart has also done his as well. Good stuff. Absolutely love it, guys. Absolutely love it. Right, Adam, let's start talking about some of the results that have happened during the week, and also go on to this weekend's results, because there have been some absolutely mad ones, and we will provide you with your fixtures that are coming up during the week and the weekend to come as well. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we do that as well. Again, if you're watching this on Twitter, please give the video a retweet at this point so we can start talking about some of the results. If you're watching us on Facebook, share the video. And again, YouTube, start sharing the link out so we can get as many different clubs. If you are involved in a club, this would be a good point to get the link for the video in your group chats.
People literally absolutely loved this section last week. The comments went off. So yeah.
So if you have a WhatsApp group and you want your team to be talking about it, this would be the point of the show to send it in, because we're now going to be going through some of the results and some of the talking points from this weekend stuff.
Let's have some banter at other clubs' expenses just for a laugh. Try and get some rivalry going.
Brilliant. Dean Cooper says, yes, about the Super Six takes 30 seconds. There you go, not 2 minutes, Adam. Daniel Barnard has said, done. Ben Moore has done his. Michael suggested perhaps an idea to post a link each week, Adam, for the Super Six. Yes, we'll do that on Twitter after the show.
Definitely going to sort that.
We'll do that after the show, Michael. Good idea on that part. Right, let's get some of the results up on the screen here. If we start off, let's go through the FA Cup, first of all, because there were some very interesting fixtures this weekend. I have to admit, I'm going to hold my hands up on here. You can't see it, but I am holding my hands up. The FA Cup is not the fixtures that I kept an eye on. I was more interested in the league results that were happening over the weekend, but let's go through some of them in a bit of detail. So we saw Sudbury beating Harbour Town 4-2. So obviously they're a higher step than Harbour.
4 goals for a Sudbury 18-year-old, I believe.
Really?
Yep, absolutely stormed it.
Brilliant stuff.
Check out their Twitter feed. They've got a load of information on him and stuff. Got man of the match and everything, but banging performance.
Fantastic. Adam, feel free to interrupt me if you've got any reports on any of these games, if you want us to to talk about any of this stuff.
It's fine.
So we've got Bury Town picking up a 1-0 away win against Kirkley United. Dereham beating Witton United 3-2. Obviously, we've talked about the game in a little bit of detail with the incident that happened to George, but Dereham ended up winning that game 3-2. Sounds like an absolutely brilliant game.
After everything that happened in that game, the concentration just to get it on and to carry on deserves a bit of credit for both teams. But I think Witton took it all the way.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until about the 83rd minute that Dereham managed to get the winner. So really good against rivals from a higher division.
Yeah. That's a very, very, very good shout on that one. Ely picking up a 3-1 home victory. I said these guys
well. Ely going well.
Yeah, very, very well. How do you pronounce this? Is it Esmesbury? There you go. Something Rovers. They beat them 3-1. Anyway, I apologise if there are any of that club's fans in the Twitter feed. I will have to get better at my pronunciation. I do apologise. Brantham Athletic getting a very, very good 1-0 victory against higher opposition. Great Wakering Rovers. Brilliant result away from home. Very impressive stuff. Hashtag United winning on penalties 13-12 against Felixstowe after a 1-1 draw.
I said last week, James, I felt like hashtag might do a number on Felixstowe, like with the home advantage and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Felixstowe are going to feel absolutely devastated, surely. Like they got it back quite late in the game, and then 13-12. Like,
right.
that's the keepers having a go and everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, devastating for Felixstowe to go out in that way.
I know hashtag they've got a bit of a rep in terms of what it is that they are doing.
A FIFA Ultimate Team in real life, aren't they?
For non-league football. I think the hashtag thing would be a good talking point for us to have on one of the week's shows, because I know a lot of people have different views and different opinions on it. I've seen a few on Twitter this morning. So I think that would make it for a very good talking point, or maybe even a separate video entirely, because they're a very interesting team to talk about from a non-league perspective. But anyway, we move on. Haverhill Rovers picking up a 4-3 victory against Wisbech Town, a great result. With lots of goals in all over again.
Yeah,
very, very impressive stuff there. Leiston 5-0 winners against Halstead Town, a very, very good victory. What sounds like a comfortable game, I'm sure it wasn't, but it sounds like a comfortable victory in the end.
Signings linking up really well at Leiston.
Yeah,
they've settled in and made a really good start. Finley Barnes is making a big difference.
Yeah,
in that team. And Leiston are really going well already. Like, it's obviously a big new start for them.
Yeah,
locally, and like last season they had a difficult time. Glenn Driver came in and actually made quite a difference at the end of the season to rescue it for him. Like, obviously, some will argue all for nothing because of what happened, but with the new management in place, new players in place, they seem really strong. And I know they've played a Step 6 team, but they've got themselves together, up and running, and that's just going to boost confidence.
Yeah, that's a statement, isn't it? That's a statement more than anything.
Exactly.
Long Melford picking up a 4-2 victory on penalties after a 0-0 game against a higher opposition in AFC Kempston Rovers. So a very good win at home for Long Melford. That's a much needed morale booster for those guys. So well done to everyone at Long Melford for that victory. Very impressive stuff. We have then got other results. Mildenhall, what was the results on this one? Was there a penalty shootout? I'm guessing they won.
Why did I not put the penalties in?
Oh, shocking result. Shocking there, Adam. Shocking. Mildenhall won.
Down now, what was the Mildenhall score?
Well, he has said FA Cup result of the weekend is Mildenhall beating Kirby. So I'm guessing they won on penalties.
I did these at 1:30 last night. Sorry.
Shocking stuff. Royston Town picking up a 6-0 victory against Newmarket. Again, from a Newmarket perspective, I know they're playing a team two steps up from them, but what do you make of that result?
I actually consider Newmarket to be one of the strongest teams in that league.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I would have expected them to be beaten 6-0, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit heavy for my liking, but if Royston turn up, Newmarket are away. Newmarket always struggle away from home. It's
true.
They always do well at home, but their away form is always the thing that lets them down every season.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. We've had Stamford beating Distown 4-0, and I know from what Dis have said on Twitter, it was 0-0 up until about 80 minutes.
That's a hard knock for Dis, isn't it?
So they held their own, but it just unfortunately seemed that once that first goal went in, the floodgates kind of opened. Ended up being a 4-0, but definitely by all accounts not a 4-0 game. So unfortunate for those guys. Thetford getting knocked out by lower league opposition.
Horrible result for them.
Yeah, really, really tough result on that one. We had Biggleswade beating Histon 1-0. Wroxham against Galston in a furlough none clash, winning 3-1. And then Stowmarket picking up a 2-1 victory away from home against higher opposition Yaxley. I know there will be some people from Stowmarket in the chat. What did you make of that game? Let's get some of your comments on some of these results on here.
I know a few people that went to the Wroxham game said that Galston, again, more people backing up the thought that Galston were a far improved outfit over last season, won't be struggling. A few people in the chat speaking about Yaxley. I didn't make it to a game at the weekend at all. Yeah. So there's a few things to pick up there. But like I say, for me, Dan has said that Potter are a Step 5 side. I thought that was Step 6. So I trust him more than I trust my own knowledge.
Brilliant stuff. So Sean has said, well done, hashtag United. So we've got a fan of hashtag in the comments there. Ben Moore says, Seymour Ramadan scores for Bury. Ely played very well by all accounts, and Felixstowe must feel hard done by, but that is the luck of the penalties. Yeah, to lose 13-12 in a penalty shootout must be absolutely devastating. Dan Snell says, Mildenhall won on penalties. There you go. There's your result on that one. And as he said, Royston are a top 3 side in that division. So I guess that's a top step 3 side rather.
Right,
so
yeah, giving some context.
So I suppose that result is not massively shocking on that one. Connor says Yaxley was a good game. Yaxley were very aggressive and had 3 cards in 10 minutes. Could have been a red in the first minute. Very interesting. It does seem like that is a bit of a tactic against Stowmarket, and I could just be a little bit biased towards Stowe on that part. But we do, and we know every time I've gone to a game, there does seem to be a bit of aggression on Stowe. But yeah, that's that comment on there. Ben, do Wroxham have Holt and Lappin playing? I don't know, Adam. That's probably more your area of expertise. Are they still having?
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
There you go.
So both playing regularly. Their side is just full of like Norwich talent.
Yeah,
Wroxham are going to do bits this year, I think.
Yeah.
I thought that before the season started, but they're doing well already. So
yeah, definitely. Dan Snell showing both of us up. Potton play at step 5. There you go. Absolute knowledge. I knew he would know. Absolute non-league encyclopedia, that boy. He's absolutely massively impressive. Anthony Watson simply says up a Stowe. Then we've got on there Ben Mayhew. Thanks for the donation. Absolutely no problem, Ben. Absolutely no problem. This is, I don't want to be just one of those shows that talks the talk. We've got to walk the walk as well. And if we can chip in any way we can towards George's funds, then that's the main thing. Do you know what I mean? That's all we can do. So Dean Cooper said, you guys are fantastic. It's so nice to get our thoughts and feelings heard higher up than normally get fobbed off. So big respect for the lads and keep up the great work. Dean, absolutely no problem, mate. That's what we're here for. We are not associated to any clubs. As I said to Macca on Twitter the other day, I don't mind being the voice if people want me to be. I have absolutely no problem with that. I'm not associated to a club, so I can say and do what I please within reason. Because YouTube will harm my channel. Vinny Ford simply says, Dan Snell would be a good stand-in for Adam. Dan, DM me. Let's talk.
I probably wouldn't end up coming back on the show. I'm not gonna like play dumb to the fact that Dan is an encyclopedia for non-league.
Yeah. Dan, DM me. Let's talk. Let's talk. Dean has said, I agree with Vinny. Get Dan on. I think it's going to happen.
All right, my resignation, boys.
Stowe Town. Great support from our fans at Yaxley on Saturday. Good stuff on there. Seeing Royston play Needham in the league, decent side, so wouldn't read too much into that result. That's fair enough. You guys know more about those higher leagues than what we do, so this is why we want you guys to get involved in the comment section on there. This is why we want you on it. Dan, Dean, you should go on. Go on, lad. If I've always said this, if people want to come on the show, if you want to get involved either as a one-off, and if you've got a question, just ask me for the link for this show and I will send it to you. You don't have to come on camera. If you just want the audio part only, just when you are logging on, just disable your camera.
We need like a Radio 5 phone-in section.
Yes.
This show needs to happen.
You're on 30 seconds. What do you want to say? Next caller. What do you want to say? Let's make it happen. If you want to get involved, guys, all you have to do is just ask for the link. We'll send it over to you, and we'll sit. If you want to come on and just give your thoughts, absolutely no problem with that. We'd really appreciate you coming on. Either, as said, visually, if you want to come on camera like myself and Adam, then that's great. If not, then if you do want to do the audio, that's absolutely no problem. Connor Ellis says Holt played on Saturday, so I guess that answers that question. Dan Snell, Grant Holt has been playing centre back.
I'm not surprised. He's like the width of 2 players. He is massive, and he's still mobile. He still commands the game, and he still pings the ball about.
Yeah,
doesn't surprise me at all.
No. Ben Moore, hashtag has to be a topic for a live show, maybe next week. There you go. If people want us to talk about hashtag. if people want us to talk about hashtag, then we can do. But all I know is it's going to be clipped up and sent over to them. Oh, have you seen what these guys are doing? I can see it happening already. I can see it happening. Let's move on. So Michael Crofer, Stowe with a better side, very aggressive side. Actually, they had 2 off the woodwork, 8-minute extra time consolation goal. We've got DeeJam. It's got a ring to it.
Literally, the comment section are sacking me. All I said was white mice were terrible.
They have followed up. Sorry, I mean Dan Jam.
Oh, so Dean has been sacked pretty quick as well then.
So Dean's out, Adam's out. There you go.
It's been a takeover tonight.
Dean Cooper, Snelly Vision. Absolutely love that. Dean has said, Adam, if I came on the show, you would be safe. Brilliant stuff, guys. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely love it. There you go. Vinny said, you're not getting sacked, Adam. Someone's got to make the coffee. That's a brilliant.
Cheers, mate.
That's a brilliant comment. Brilliant comment. Absolutely brilliant. Let's move on into some of the results from during the week. Then, if we start off with the Furlough Prem, we had a whole host of games during the week. Again, if you guys were involved in any of these matches, let us know your thoughts on the games. Adam, if you've got any reports, again, just interrupt me or feel free. It's absolutely no problem from my part before I start reading some of these out. So we've got Ely City winning 1-0 at Thetford. So good 1-0 victory for Ely at home. We saw Clacton's unbeaten run to the start of the season coming to an end as they lost 2-1 at home to Bramford Athletic. Would you say that's a shock scoreline, Adam?
No, they finish the same sort of place each year normally, but I think it's just a good result for Bramford because it's away. It's a Tuesday night and it's in Clacton.
Yeah. We've got Galston winning 5-4 against Walsham and the Willows. I was regularly checking that game on Twitter.
Unreal game. Unbelievable. I think they came back 3-0 down or something ridiculous.
Yeah, it was mental. And I think they were winning, I think it was 5-2 at one point.
Yeah, and Walsham grabbed a couple and unbelievable. But Galston showing they've got the firepower that we've spoken about.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Haverhill Rovers 1-1 against Manchester Rovers. We saw Kirkley and Pegfield picking up a 2-1 victory against Woodbridge Town. Really, really starting to worry about Woodbridge this season. Some of the results have not gone well for them early on in the season, but still relatively early on.
3-3.
So it's relatively early on in a new management spell. There is bound to be some sort of change in when Carlos left. So let's see how things go after a couple of weeks. Newmarket 2-2 draw against Mildenhall Town.
Newmarket will be kicking themselves. For those that don't know, Newmarket were 2-1 up till right at the death.
Really,
and those are the kind of results that I think will differentiate positions come the end of the season.
Yeah.
But very, very good goals scored in that game.
Yeah,
ridiculously good goals.
Definitely. We saw Norwich United and Stowmarket playing out a 0-0 draw. Stanway 1-1 against Long Melford. Swaffan losing 2-0 at home to Wroxham.
Swaffan I'm worried about, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Haven't seen much from them so far this season. They've always been a bit of a favourite team for me, but they've had a bit of a tough draw so far, but it's not going to get any easier this weekend, I don't think.
No, definitely. And Witton losing 2-0 to Hadley United.
Yeah.
Have to admit, did not see this result coming.
Nope.
Very shocked.
It's hard to know what to say about it, to be honest. I said to you, I couldn't see Witton ever going a game and not scoring. And then that happened where Hadley, who I thought were going to struggle big time this year. So you never know. Each game is anyone's, and I suppose it's all about the way you set yourselves up and the mental place where you're in at the time. But for me, I think that will probably be something that gives Witton the kick that says that we're good players, but we've got to be on it.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get your thoughts up on screen here. We've had Dan who said about the FA Cup as a separate thing to the Furlough 9, saying the FA Cup draw published today looks good. We've also Conor Ellis saying, I'm looking forward to a trip to Cambridge on a Tuesday night. We will get into that in a bit. Drew said guest presenters each week. I'm not sure how Adam would feel about that.
You're just stuck with Bodger and Badger every week, mate.
I don't really know which one I am and which one you are. We'll talk about it afterwards. Vinny has said the Hadley Witten result was a big shock. I agree. I didn't, as I said, I did not see that result coming at all. But hats off to Hadley. They it's a very, very impressive win. Whether or not what we've been told, the 2 shots on goal equaled the 2 goals, I don't know. We weren't there, but it's a very, very impressive win nonetheless. Dan says Newmarket versus Mildenhall was a very good game. Late equaliser from Mildenhall, which you touched on there. Yeah. Seems to be the impressive one from that, other than the Goulston, Walsh and the Willows result. Michael says Norwich United set their stall out from the off. Would have taken a point from the start, even after a man sent off. Norwich were hard to break down. There you go. That's a good, very good.
Quite a boring game, all in all.
Yeah, very good match report there. Though, cheers for that, Michael. That's really appreciated, because you were at the game, you saw firsthand. So, sorry, Adam.
I was saying that's the kind of like little reports that we want from people that allow us to dive a bit deeper,
Yeah, definitely. Dan backs up your comments about Swaffan, saying that with Alex Vincent and Joe Jackson leaving Swaffan, they will struggle.
Where are those 2 playing? Because they are such a talent between them.
Yeah.
Right, with them leaving, they will struggle because everything went through them. I'd hate to see them go down. I really would.
Yeah. It's a good club for this level. And I think I echo your point. There you go. We've got Leon who says Joe Jackson has gone to Downham.
Right.
Okay. There you go. That's one of them. So where's Connor Ellis saying Jackson is at Downham? Correct.
Jackson should not. He could play higher than that.
But it comes down to what we were talking about last week, though, doesn't it? A lot of people are stepping down now to play either locally or more with their mates and be
absolutely bang at that level.
Yeah, there you go. Again, Alex is saying that Joe Jackson's now at Debenham. Again, Leon's now saying Vinny is awaiting an operation. There you go. That's where that is at. Joe Jackson is at Downham, scored 2 on Saturday. Wow. And Alex Vincent is injured on there. Ben Moore said, what has happened at Thetford? Clacton is the Stoke of local non-league football, always a tough place to go.
I was watching another podcast the other day, and someone at Thetford came on and said that he expected Thetford to finish top 6. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't know what planet that came from, but miles away from me. I genuinely, I've seen nothing from them so far that would suggest they're top 6, and I saw nothing from them last season that suggested they were building towards top 6.
Yeah.
But they have had a bit of a rebuild over the summer.
Yeah.
So maybe it will click in time. You've got to give teams time. We've said all along, we are not looking at league tables for a good while. No, I said the other day, at least 5 games before we look at them. And it's going to take longer. Dan has just put in the comments about Volta and Kevin not signing for Thetford. Don't know where they've gone either. They probably would have made a bit of a difference if they would have come in, because they are pure creativity and firepower between them.
Yeah.
But who knows what's behind it. And we all know money is an issue, and I expect they both want a nice amount. They're good players. They're better than step 5 players, in my opinion.
Potentially, yeah, potentially. Vinny has just simply followed up saying, honestly, Dan, there's nothing that you don't know. Dan's incredible. Dan is absolutely incredible. And he's probably sitting there going, oh, shucks.
Perfect little chat bot to keep everything running smoothly.
Yeah.
Every
comment section.
He's the DeeJam Dobby. Can we change your name, Dan? As well, Sam.
Dan, if that is not in your Twitter bio by this time next week, the DeeJam Dobby, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. I expect to see that in your description on Twitter. That is absolutely brilliant. Drew said, yes, Vincent has been massively important for Swaffham in recent years. Depends who they bring in. The beauty of non-league, you never know. 100% agree with that, mate. 100% agree with that. So the weekend results from the Furlough Prem, there wasn't very many because of the FA Cup. We saw God Manchester and Walsham the Willows playing out a 2-3 victory for Walsham. So good victory for them to kickstart their season. Norwich United picking up a very valuable 2-1 victory against Woodbridge. And again, another disappointing result for Woodbridge.
I wouldn't expect Woodbridge to win that, really.
Like, the amount of changes going on at Norwich United as well.
That's true.
Both clubs are going through a bit of transition. So that's one where you could literally, flip a coin in the air and who knows?
Either way.
Yeah. Stanway Rovers 2, Kirkley and Pegfield 3. So Kirkley getting 2 victories in the space of a week, which is very impressive. And again, Swaffham losing to Hadley United. So 2 very impressive victories for Hadley.
If you would have put this into last season, you would have reversed both of those. And the one at the top as well. You'd have expected Goddey to beat Walsham, Kirkley to lose to Stanway, Swaffham to beat Hadley.
Yep. Yeah.
Things are changing.
Yeah, things are definitely changing, and this is why we love non-league football, because it's never the same. It's never dull. It's not like leagues higher up where you know who's going to finish in the top 6, you know who's going to be in relegation form. It changes every single time. It's brilliant, and that's why we absolutely love it. So those are the results from the week. If we bring up the fixtures here, and you will see the form guide, which I have to admit I really like this. I'll just pat myself on the back, which is terrible. Bramford Athletic, with their 2 victories so far this season, are at home against Stanway Rovers, who are in desperate need of a victory.
Stanway this weekend. It looks grim.
Yeah, it really does. Hadley United again picking up their 2 victories after an opening game defeat against Haverhill Rovers, who again are needing to pick up something to kickstart their season. Mildenhall, who have only played the 1 game against God Manchester Rovers, so both teams have yet to taste victory this season. That is also a game during the week. And we've got Wroxham versus Galston, both teams coming off a victory in their last outing.
Wroxham having just played Galston they've literally played Galston like the other day.
Yeah.
At home. It's the same fixture twice in 2 days.
Yeah. Absolutely incredible. So
the stupidity of the cup.
Yeah. So that is the fixtures during the week. And then next Saturday sees Galston versus Clacton. We've got Haverhill Rovers versus Woodbridge, Stanway versus Wroxham, Swaffham versus Kirkley and Pegfield, and Thetford versus Stowe. Adam, very quickly, standout fixture from the midweek games. What is drawing your eye? And then we'll ask you the same question on your weekend one for the Furlough Prem.
I'd love to see how Wroxham versus Galston is approached differently.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if there's a different result in it or if they figure each other out and to see what happens. And I know that's a bit of an odd one to say, but like I say, judging on other stuff, I think Galston have got the firepower. And I think having watched Wroxham once and being the report coming back saying they were very good, be an interesting fixture to watch.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Hadley versus Haverhill. I want to see how Hadley can follow up on those 2 very impressive victories during last week. See if they can do it again with 2 games in 2 weeks. The weekend's ones, I am going to go for Swaffham versus Kirkley and Pegfield, because Swaffham need to start collecting some points very, very desperately. It's not a good start to have 3 defeats on the bounce. And for Kirkley, it's been a very impressive start. Very impressive start. So that's my fixture of the weekend.
Like, to be absolutely boring, I'd utterly agree. My eyes are going to be fixed to that one. Definitely. I really want to see what happens there.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move on into the Furlough North. So the results from during the week, we had Leiston Reserves picking up a 4-1 victory against Needham Market Reserves. Sheringham and Norwich CBS playing out an absolute classic 4-4 game. Brilliant game of football.
Massive well done to Sheringham. They were 3-0 down. Then 3 down.
Yeah.
And then still brought it back. Got to Norwich. How do you throw away a 3-0 lead? But still got to
momentum in football is a funny thing, though. Really is.
Yeah.
And then we saw Downham 2, Fakenham 4. A very good away result for Fakenham during the week. And then the results from the weekend, there was quite a few matches in the Furlough North, actually. Cornard 0-0 against Sheringham. Downham versus Debenham, which is a 3-2 victory for Downham. Fakenham picking up a 3-0 victory against Leiston Reserves. Framlingham 0, Marchtown 4, Yarmouth 2, AFC Sudbury Reserves 0. Lakenheath 5-1 victory over Wisbech St Mary. Mulbarton 4 versus Haverhill Borough. Needham Market versus Kings Lynn Town game was postponed, and I believe that was because of a Kings Lynn coaching staff member positive COVID test. I'm not entirely sure on that one. That is right. Okay, there we go. And Ipswich Wanderers picking up a 4-1 victory away from home against Norwich CBS. Standout result from that, because there's a lot to dissect.
So 2 goals again from Matt Blake for Ipswich Wanderers. Norwich CBS, obviously not a good week at the office for them.
Yeah.
Like, full stop. Am I allowed to say I'm a bit worried for Wisbech St Mary? Like,
no, I think you're allowed to say that.
Like, after last season, I think they finished on a minus 74 goal difference when we stopped, and they've conceded a bucket full already.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure where that stops, to be honest.
But I suppose my standout result, I'm going to have to go for Ipswich Wanderers against Norwich. I predicted Norwich to do quite well this season, and it's not been a good start to the season for them. But for Ipswich Wanderers, we talked to some of their guys before the game against Witton on the opening, for the opening game, and they were very confident about the season up and coming, weren't they? They were very, they got high expectations. So I suppose this result shouldn't really come as a shock, but that's a very impressive victory away from home.
Well, Barton put things right as well after losing to them the week before.
Yeah.
Haverhill Borough, they're not a bad side, but like, just to knock 4 with no reply is decent.
Yeah. Dan says Jack French hat-trick for March.
We love it.
There you go. Dan, your knowledge is so impressive. Dean, just to say, let's skip the SIL. No, Dean, I'm afraid we have to cover it. I know why you don't want us to cover it. We will get into that in a few moments, Dean, but we are not going to be skipping the SIL. The fixtures for the North... Jesus, sound like I'm on Game of Thrones there. The fixtures for the Furlough None North during the week, we've got Dis versus Debenham, Haverhill Borough versus Lakenheath, Kings Lynn Town Reserves versus Marchtown United, Mulbarton versus Great Yarmouth. We've got AFC Sudbury Reserves versus Cornard United, and Wisbech St Mary versus Downham Town. I'm going to make a very bold prediction on here, Adam. Mm-hmm. It actually might not be that bold, but I'm going to say it anyway. Kings Lynn Reserves.
Yeah.
Now that their first team and their league has been postponed for a little bit longer.
Yep.
Kings Lynn to suddenly start shooting up a table, top 6, maybe come November.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they'll start playing Michael Gash in the reserves, but if they do, there's going to be some people feeling very unjust.
Well, I think he's injured.
Dan said that one's still going to be off because of COVID anyway, so don't need to worry about it.
Right.
I think personally, the one I'm looking out for is Debenham and Dis. Obviously, both teams haven't won yet. But I think Debenham are going to be wanting to get points on the board now.
Yeah.
And get things moving forward. Not the start I was expecting them to have, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
So, like, this will be a good test.
Very, very good test. I like the look of Mulbarton versus Yarmouth. Both teams have similar records. I think for me, that's probably the one I'm looking forward to keeping an eye on. Both teams getting a victory last time out. Let's see if they can... Let's see who can follow that up. But again, Dan, right on it. Yep, Kings Lynn versus March is off. Did not know that. Didn't know that, but we will. We'll keep the top of that for next week's show. Vinny simply says Wanderers are going to do very well this year. Yeah. Good shout on that one. Daniel Barnard. Dan's got cameras at every ground of the Furlough League.
he literally runs the Furlough League CCTV system. He's honestly
brilliant stuff. Dan, I'm going to Dis versus Debenham tomorrow. Dan, let us know either if we'll talk in the DMs afterwards. But But if you don't come on the show as a guest, you're going to have to let us know your thoughts on that game as an overall comment. We'd love to hear what you got to say on that.
Yeah.
Sam, Dan, not married. I think he is, aren't you, Dan? I could be wrong, but I think he is actually. But there we go. And then the weekend's games: Cornard versus Kings Lynn Town Reserves, Debenham versus Norwich CBS, Yarmouth versus Needham Market, March versus Leiston, and Wisbech versus AFC Sudbury. My standout one is March versus Leiston. I want to see if the reserves can follow up their 2 impressive victories at the start of the season. They've had a defeat recently, but let's see if they can get back to winning ways against what will be a very difficult tie in March, who are a very impressive team at this level. Adam, standout fixture?
I just want to keep an eye this weekend on Wisbech St Mary just to see if my fears are given 3 games in the league, and if it's happening every game, then I think we've got something to be concerned about.
Yeah, definitely. Here we go. This is the point. Dan said not married, cancelled, COVID. Oh, that's horrible, mate. That is absolutely horrible.
At least you get to keep it on trial for like another 6 months anyway, mate. Keep the receipt.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move into the SIL because there are some brilliant results in here this week. So these are the results from the weekend's action. So the Bourne Vale, which we've briefly talked about, Neil Claydon 3. So a very impressive victory for Claydon away from home, getting back to winning ways. We've got Capel Plough losing 1-0 at home to Benel St Mary. Benel, who I watched obviously in the opening game of the SIL season. We've had East Bergholt 3, Old Newton 3, so a very impressive high-scoring draw in that game. Halesworth beating Achilles 4-0, hence why Dean didn't want us to talk about the SIL result.
On Twitter and said there's learning points, like held hands up afterwards and that. So obviously not the result they wanted. And after the week before, probably wouldn't have expected either. But yeah, these things are going to happen.
Yeah, they can. And Halesworth, as I said last week, are a very, very good outfit. So it's there's not going to be an easy game in this division. It's there are teams competing all over the shop. Hawley United 5-1 victory against Leiston St Margaret's. That's a very good win at home, but not as impressive as Trimley Red Devils 7-1 victory against Bilderstone.
Yeah, where did that come from?
I don't know if it shocked. Well, it did shock me because I know what Bilderstone are capable of on their day, but people have hyped up Trimley to me in DMs throughout the summer. And again, I mentioned about me running alongside the track on the train. I've now got one hand on that train. I'm getting on board. I'm getting on board with the Trimley hype. It's
we need to go and watch them, don't we? I think.
Yeah, there's something happening there, and we will definitely go and watch them, 100%. Dan Barnard up the Claydon, back to winning ways with the blue and black heart emojis, loving it. What is going on at Bilderstone? I'm not an SIO expert. I could not comment because I honestly
don't. Last year, so like it's a bit odd to come out and take an absolute battering like that.
Yeah, I mean that might just be Trimley being that impressive. Exactly. Vinnie Ford has said Bilderstone looked all right last year. What's happened? I don't know. Maybe somebody from Bilderstone can comment. If there is somebody who is watching this on Twitter that will know what is happening, because that's not like them to simply, I wouldn't say collapse, but it's not like them to see that kind of result. They were very competitive last year. So what is happening?
Out to get out and see them, look for ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. So Chris Ray, a massive first half for Trimley. He follows that up by saying could have been 8 in the first half, which is brilliant. Dean has said, I will find out about Trimley on Saturday. Oh, what a tough game.
Yeah.
What a tough game to follow up that loss against Halesworth. I wish you all the best, Dean. Hopefully you can put wrongs a few, put right a few wrongs rather for next time on there. He says we will go again. Sam, a big Hawley win, nice win for Claydon too, despite the tactics of opposition. Again, we won't go into the legalities of that. But yeah, very, very impressive victory for Claydon away from home. Sam says Bilderson have a few missing. That might explain it, because at this level, it only takes 1 or 2 people to be missing for whatever reason, and suddenly you can have a big part of your spine taken away from that.
Yeah, you don't carry squads of 18, do you? Like,
very rare, very rare.
So it's...
Dan says, "Good luck, mate. Trimley are a great outfit. They look very impressive this season. It has to be said. Trimley looking very good. They have recruited very well. It seems the same as Hawley. Yeah, very." Dean has simply said, "Achilles win all day." Love the confidence, mate. That is exactly what you need on that part.
If there is anyone in here from Trimley, that is going on the dressing room. Well, no, it's not, because you're not allowed in, but it's just going on the pitch.
That is going up in the car park.
Yeah, that will be stuck to everyone's windscreen.
Brilliant stuff. And these are the fixtures for next weekend. So we've got Achilles versus Trimley, as we've already talked about briefly. Bilston versus Bourne Vale. Both teams have lost their opening games, so will want to pick up a positive result and kickstart their season. Claydon versus Ransoms, which should be a superb matchup. Hawley versus Cops. Henley versus Benall St Mary. Leyton St Margaret versus Halesworth Town. Old Newton versus Capel Plough. Westerfield versus East Burgall. And Crane are the only team without a game this weekend. Adam, just by looking at the fixtures on there, who is your standout game?
I was annoyed that Westerfield didn't get a chance to play this weekend. So, and to be honest, it's a good, against East Burgall, it's another good one for them. Leyton St Margaret's need to do something pretty desperately, don't they?
Yeah.
To be honest. And Halesworth are looking good. So, could be interesting. Should be interesting.
I'm laughing because I've just seen Dean's comment on here. They can put it where they like, it will be a reminder of their loss. That is confidence. That is confidence at the highest level, Dean. I love it, and I'm slightly worried for you at the same time. But that's I absolutely love it, mate. Absolutely love it. Let's move on to Div 1, because this was the opening weekend for Div 1, Div 2, and Div 3. We have got AFC Kesgrave losing 3-1 at home to Stowe Upland Falcons. Stowe Falcons were an old team of mine, as many of you will know. Not that I've banged on about it once or twice, but there we go. So Stowe Falcons picking up a 3-1 victory away from home. Bedricks versus Stanton was postponed because, and I don't know if you know this, Adam, but the referee didn't turn up.
Are you joking?
Nope. That's what I've been told. The referee didn't turn up, so that's the reason why that game was called off.
Right. Okay.
So that's what I've been told. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me in the comment section. Condom losing 1-0 at home to Bacton United. Sporting picking up a very, very good 3-1 victory away from home against Southwold. That is majorly impressive. And Tattingstone getting a 2-0 victory against Wen Hastings United on the opening weekend. Barham, Grunsborough and Wickham with no games. There have been a lot of comments on here. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Let's get these up.
Tighter in Div 1.
Sorry?
Games are a bit tighter in Div 1 for the opening weekend, but some good results, like you say, for Sporting and for Tattingstone.
Yeah, definitely. So Sam says Upper Tat. Dean will no-show if Trimley beat Achilles on Monday's show. Dean, you're going to have to get involved, mate. You're going to have to get involved now. You can't be called out like that. Achilles 0-0 versus Trimley. There you go. Got an early prediction in there. Tattingstone will do well again this year. Hard to disagree with that. They've got a very, very good side. Lucas said Hurdy turned up at 12:30. Ben Moore up the Wickham to win this weekend. And Dean, Plaistow Falcons preseason, very tidy side, will do very well. Yeah. My standout one, I have to say, is the... Sorry, go on.
A couple of seasons back, they were struggling a little bit, weren't they?
Who's that? Falcons. Yeah, they were. It's
good to see. Good to see people saying that they're tidy and getting the performances in.
Yeah, definitely. I think my standout result is a Sporting one against Southwold. That's an impressive victory, no matter which way you look at it. It has to be said.
We said beforehand, this could be the season that Sporting really push on and try and do it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And Wickham have got involved saying should have played us pre-season as well, Dean. Hello, Wickham. Nice to have you in the chat. Thanks for getting involved, guys. Let's move on to your fixture then, because I believe you guys are playing. Yes, you are next weekend. So these are the Lucas made a very bold prediction saying Sporting's year this year. I would love to see it because they're the nearly club, and I hate saying that, but they are the nearly club. Maybe this year will be their year. We shall see. Backton versus Tattingstone, who both picked up victories on the opening game, face off against each other. Bedbricks versus AFC Kesgrave, Sporting versus Wickham Market, Stanton versus Coddenham, Falcons versus Grunsborough, and Wenhaston versus Southwold Town. Standout fixture has got to be Sporting versus Wickham Market. Wickham are one of the favourites. They're one of the favourites for this league by a mile. That's going to be a very, very tasty fixture. Yeah,
it's a big game.
Yeah. What any other fixtures you think would be decent just from the outlook?
I heard that Backton played very well at the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Tattingstone as well, like enough said, like they're going to be good. So that'll be interesting to see which way it goes, and maybe to get a good lay of the land between those two.
Definitely.
Still at that point where there's still a couple of teams in there now that haven't actually played matches so far, so it's a bit tough.
Yeah, definitely. Barham, just a side mention, are the only team who don't have a game this weekend. Kenny has said Tattingstone and Sporting to go up from Div 1 this year. There you go. Kenny's suggestions right off the bat. Grant has said, I fancy Backton for the Tattingstone game. That's going to be a very good game to watch, I have to say. Luke says he agrees with Kenny on that part. Drew, be interesting to see where Sporting finish this season. Gone so close to getting promoted in recent years, so they're really hoping they can go up this year. It's a really tight league. Div 1 is one of the hardest divisions. It really is. It's so tough in that league.
It's tight.
I think it's one of those that once you get into the senior, I wouldn't say it's easier, but getting out of Div 1 is incredibly hard. It's kind of like the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I think that's probably the best way to describe it, but some very good games in there. We'll move on into Div 2, the opening results from the weekend. AFC Yorkshire, 6-1 victory at home against Ipswich Athletic. I have to say, massively impressive performance on that part. To score 6 goals in any game is just insane. So very well done for you guys there. Melton United, a lot of people tipped them to do very well this season, and they picked up a victory against Bramford Road Old Boys, who themselves did very well last season. Curtin Athletic, 3-0 victory at home against Saxmundham. Somersham 2-0 against Stonham Aspel. Ufford Sports 1, Thurston 2. Very good victory for Thurston away from home to kick off their season. Wolverstone 3-1 victory against Cockfield United. Elmswell were the only team without a game there. Follow-up comments to Div 1. I think Barham will do well in Div 1 too, says Vinny. And Dean says Tattingstone will be up there. And then AFC Yorkshires with a strong arm emoji. One game at a time.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you beat what's in front of you, I guess. And I think when you get results like that, it's great. But I think you have to look at the flip side as well. And like Ipswich Athletic would have learned a lot from it as well. Yeah. And next week will be interesting.
It's how you bounce back. Those results can happen in football. We see it happen every single time. It's how you bounce back as a team, which really shows your true mettle. Do you know what I mean? That's where you really prove yourself. Thurston's a standout result for me. I think that's a great victory after what happened last season. They would have needed that as a bit of a confidence booster going into this season. So I think that is my standout result from that. But there's lots to pick out from that. Somersham is a good victory. Curtin's a good victory as well. Melton, that just kind of shows that they mean business in this league. That victory, there's a lot.
Like Melton getting that win, it kind of shows the rumours to be like backed up with some early points.
Yeah. Dan says, good to see Somersham getting a win after struggling last season. Yeah, agree with that one. Dean, AFC Yorkshire, aka Cranes, will dominate that division. I don't know what you mean by that, Dean. Would you like to follow up on that comment? Let us know. The fixtures into next weekend. We've got AFC Yorkshire versus Ufford Sports. Bradford Red Old Boys versus Ipswich Athletic, 2 teams who lost, who would like to pick up some victory or some points on, to kickstart their season. Cockfield versus Saxmundham, exactly the same. Melton versus Curtin, Stonham, Aspel versus Elmswell, and Thurston have no game, and that is because there are an odd number of teams in the division. Standout fixture. I suppose it would probably be, I'd have to say Melton versus Curtin.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some really interesting fixtures there.
What do you think Elmswell are going to do this year?
I think they're going to do very well.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting them to be strong from all that I know going into things. And I will admit my SIL knowledge is limited, but from what I do know, I think Elmswell will do well. I'm not sure about Stonham Aspel as to what to expect, but I think it'll be an interesting game. Not sure if it'll be game of the weekend in that division, but I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah. We've got Gavin Turner who says Elmswell have made the primary cup final after winning their semi-final tonight. Congratulations, guys. Well done. Good.
Awesome.
Good victory there. Luke has said Melton result is a standout, but cheers, James. I've got to give you a shout out, Luke. I have to give you a shout out. I think it's an impressive victory. I think it is. Love the Blue Sox. Ghost Cranes, we got the band back together, say AFC your shirts. Ipswich Athletic have had a very tough start. Yeah, couldn't agree more on that one. Dean, pretty much old Crane reserve side players who dominated every year. Great players. There you go. There's your follow-up comment. Cheers, Dean. Love that. Bramford Road, Old Boys Athletic will be a great game this weekend after 2 losses. Yeah, that's a very good comment. Both teams will want to get back to some sort of winning ways.
Steady the ship.
Yeah, exactly. Again, results happen. A loss happens. It's how you bounce back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's my kind of 2 cents on it. Div 3, we'll go through these, and then we've got some cup and some higher divisions to talk about. So we're approaching the 2-hour mark. It's flown by.
So it really has today.
This is where some of the big goal scoring headlines that really grabbed my attention over the weekend happened. So we've got AFC Wanderers 1, Bardwell Sports 6, Brantford 10-0 against Aldborough 2. Very impressive victories there.
David Kempson, fresh out of Step 5 last year, grabbing a hat trick. I mean, I knew him as a left back, so. I think we might be seeing a few more scorelines like that from Brantford because they have got some players in that team. Yeah, I think everyone's expecting. I'm not going to pretend that everyone's going to be shocked by it, but if you're going to put that kind of squad together, get the results.
But I heard that Aldborough had been slowly building up a fairly decent side for this division, so I wouldn't say I'm shocked. But I am shocked, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
10-0's a shock, whatever, mate.
Yeah, it is. It's a mad result.
That's not just a bad day at the office, is it, 10-0?
No, that is a definite how do you bounce back?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even 9-0 is a better scoreline. Hope Church 1, Wincham Wasps 4. Very good victory for the Wasps away from home. Ipswich Exiles versus Great Blakenham was a 1-1. Laxfield 2, Wortham 0. Ocker 1, Kesgrave Kestrels 1. And Stage versus Unity was a 0-0 draw. Let's get your comments in because you guys have been commenting here. Top 3 will be Bramford Road, Old Boys, Your Shirts and Melton, and not sure what order in the Div 3. Dan Barnard, shock, Bramford. Sean says Bramford, 10-0 with a shocked emoji. Ryan has said about Backton, glad no one's tipped us under the radar. Like it. Bramford with a massive signing midweek as well. Baden Holmes has signed for them. Yeah, good signing there. Bramford result was ridiculous. They should have been allowed to swap divisions with Mendlesham. Yeah. It's been a talking point. It's been a talking point without a doubt. The Mendlesham situation. Good old non-avoid season. The Bramford squad would compete in the senior division. I don't think many people would disagree with you on that one. They've picked up a very, very, very impressive squad. Jack has simply said up the Bramford. Don't get me started on Bradford United. That division shouldn't have happened. Is a sham, says Dean. Bramford will have bigger than 10 over this season.
Are Bramford more controversial than #United?
Oh, get involved in the comments, guys.
I think it will go beyond 10. This, like, you look at other teams, and I think they are capable of hitting more than 10 past, and if they can do that to Aldborough on the first game of the season, like 10 on the first game of the season is ridiculous.
Yeah. So we said, got Irvin who simply says Bramford's team are far too good for that division. Bournvale reserves, if Bramford stay together, they won't lose a game until they reach the senior.
What a statement that is.
Wow. That's brilliant. And we've got Daniel who says Baden's brother already plays for Bramford, so that would make sense why he's joined over there. Dean simply says yes. It is controversial. Luke, no, fair play to them. Why not? It's not their fault. Well done for them for pulling that team together. It's a fair
again,
comment.
you want to play at that level as well, like, because they are capable of playing higher, like, not mess about.
Definitely. And Bournvale make a very valid point. It's important that Bramford are not blamed. It's the authorities to blame, not the club. Again, that situation was presented to them. Bramford were told they had to go down to that level. It's like the Rangers thing, isn't it? Do you remember that Rangers situation all those years ago? Shouldn't have been at that level of football, and they were put in there not because they wanted to, but because they were told to.
Yeah.
So, it's a very valid point. Dean is
call it hate, but there's a lot of controversy around that, though. I didn't really realise there was that much.
Yeah. SIL footballs, there's a lot of people who've got some very strong opinions in SIL, mate. You'll find that as the season goes on. Dean Cooper, Bramford who folded should not be competing in the division at all. Daniel, they're carving their names on 3 trophies already.
Well,
it's a very, very...
they'll then go out and there'll be that scout. People will line up differently against them and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, teams will play in a different way to try and counter it. And they might have to encounter some very boring matches of football with 10 behind the ball.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's take the game to them, is what I say. Attack them. Give them a go.
Yeah, why not? You've got nothing to lose. Fixtures for the upcoming weekend is Aldborough versus Wortham, Bardwell versus Stage, Bramford versus Windlesham Wasps, Great Blackham Checkers versus Ockhold, Hope versus Ipswich Exiles, Kesgrave versus AFC Wanderers, and Unity versus Laxfield. I suppose... Wasps versus Bramford. 2 teams picked up victories. Let's see if the Bramford hype can keep on going. Why not?
Yeah, I think Exiles can get their first win this weekend as well. If I'm honest, I think they'll win that. It'd be interesting to see what happens with the Bramford game.
Yeah. Jack says, sorry, Adam, he says, can only play in the division you're put in.
Yeah, you're right.
As Luke says, evens for Bramford to go 1 game away from Invincibles, only for the null and void to kick in.
Hashtag second wave.
No, don't. I don't really want to be in that situation. Sam says, club was too big to fold. Go get them. Yeah, why not? Yeah. Why not, indeed? Why not? So that's the results from the SIL. I think if we talked about reserves, if we talked about Div 4, we could be here all night. So we're going to move on into some also other fixtures that are coming up this weekend. And then we're going to wrap the show up. We've got 4 more screens to go through with you guys. So the FA Vars is kicking off this weekend with the final from last year still to be played. But here we go. That's the situation we find ourselves in. Absolute shock that the FA have made that decision.
Reduced as well. So happy days, everyone. Get involved. Get your players injured.
Yeah. So the first round qualifying, we've got Dis versus Fakenham, Downham versus Ely, Ipswich Wanderers versus Bramtham, Lakenheath Fram, Peterborough Northern Star versus Mulbarton, Sheringham Newmarket, West Essex versus Haverhill Borough, God Manchester versus Norwich, Hadley versus Hadley United. Very tongue twister for you guys out there. And the final results from that one, Huntington versus Mildenhall, Ilford versus Long Melford, Ipswich versus Bramtham, Saffron versus Whitton United, and Sheringham versus Newmarket. All ties to be played at 3 p.m. Saturday, except for the West Essex versus Haverhill Borough game, which is Sunday at 2 p.m. Adam, standout game from those games.
A couple of them on there twice, haven't we? Sheringham versus Newmarket, I'm quite interested in. I think that's quite a tasty game.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be decent. And obviously, divisional rivals like God Manchester, Norwich United. I'd expect Norwich to continue what they're doing. I'm not really sure with Goddy quite yet what's happening. But Dis have got an opportunity there, haven't they, to progress in another cup, get another round, bit more prize money under the belt.
Yeah.
And I seriously don't doubt that Ipswich Wanderers will give Brantham a game.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. Ely versus Downham's my one I'm particularly looking forward to.
Yeah, that's the local one as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that should be a very, very tasty game on there. Let me just bring up the other page. Let me just have a look. Yeah, there's some good ties in there. Some very, very good ties. It should be interesting to see who can progress from that part. So we'll have a look on that. Let's bring up some of your comments on here. Dan says Mulbarton to beat higher league opposition. It would be hard to, that would it be a shock? I don't think it would be.
I'm pretty sure Peterborough Northern Star were the team that had the absolutely shambolic summer. I can say with almost certainty. They signed a manager who sacked the entire first team after inviting them out for beers during lockdown. Right. Then he sacked the whole team by WhatsApp, tried to sign a whole load, and then went public on his conversations that he had with the chairman, who was saying that none of the players were fit to play in the league.
Wow, did not know that.
Honestly, the messages were a joke. The chairman was calling players like fatty and stuff in these messages.
Really?
The manager just let it all out, and they then started again and signed another batch of players.
Well, Dan has said that, Adam, you are correct. Bourneville Reserve saying Peterborough Northern Star are a shambles, LOL.
Yeah. So we'll back Mulbarton there, I think.
Yeah. Go Mulbarton. Go, lads. Go win. Go win. That sounded like an American talking about the English league, didn't it? Go win.
NFL the weekend.
That was terrible. Yeah, NFL was back. Unfortunately, my team lost, but that's another conversation for another day. Shh. Let's not talk about it. Dean Cooper says Wanderers. Sam says Wanderers to beat Brantham.
Yeah, I think that's on. I really do.
Yeah, and Wanderers versus Brantham will be a good game. I fancy Wanderers in that one. So that's the FA Vars kicking off. We've then got our opening fixtures for the Isthmian North League. And what you will see in brackets are the positions of where teams finished last season. So really looking forward to seeing this league and also the Southern League Premier Central kicking off this weekend. So we've got Sudbury versus Coggeshall Town, Aveley versus Dereham, Basildon versus Bury, Brentwood Town versus Great Athletic, Cambridge City versus Tilbury, Canvey Island versus Romford, Great Wakem versus Felixstowe, Heybridge versus Histon, Soham versus Malden and Tiptree, Whitton, Hullbridge Sports. Although I think some of these will be, I'm not entirely sure whether or not some of these are still going on. I can't remember. This graphic was created a few weeks back now. Are there any cup fixtures clashing with these? I don't think there are.
These don't go into the Vars or anything at this point. So
no. Okay, that's just me jumping the gun ahead of the FA Cup, I think.
Felixstowe, after a big summer, there's been a lot. They've obviously got Tiger Smalls in now, as well. They've really got a point to prove this season with the amount of players that they've managed to bring in, and I think they'll be wanting to dust themselves down after the miserable loss on Sunday, to penalties, going all that distance. Be interesting just to see how they open their account from a local point of view. Yeah, but it's nice to get two fairly local sides playing each other in Sudbury, Coggeshall.
Yeah. Very good point. Very good point. I think Bury have kind of landed the jackpot in terms of fixtures. If you look at it from a paper perspective, bottom of the table, Basildon from last year. That's a very good opening fixture, has to be said.
Yeah.
So very, very interesting to see how those guys get on in that division. And then finally, our final show of the night is the Southern League Premier Central fixtures. We've got Lowestoft away from home against Barwell, Bromsgrove versus Sporting versus Cohill Town. I suppose our fixtures, we've got Leiston versus Rushall. We have got Needham versus Redditch United. And I think that's it from our area, isn't it? So we've got Lowestoft. Sorry?
We haven't got too much in that one.
No, we've got Needham, we have Leiston, and we have Lowestoft. They're our teams from this area. I suppose Needham have got the ideal start, bottom of the table. Again, very similar to Bury.
Back in Needham this year as well.
Yeah.
Their pre-season has been utterly ridiculous. and I honestly think they've signed the players to make the difference. And I think Kev Horlock will really be going for it. I think they've got the setup to go higher. We've been saying that for ages.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, I reckon we're going to see something big from Needham this year.
Yeah. And Leiston have got a very tough start. If you look at the things again on paper in terms of a team that finished inside the playoffs last time around, but it's a different Leiston team. It's a different Leiston management side. It's a completely different outfit. So let's see. Who knows?
A hard start, but I wouldn't underestimate Leiston. I really wouldn't.
No, definitely not.
Expect them to compete well.
Definitely. So let's bring our faces back on screen. We are going to wrap things up in a few moments, guys. We really, really appreciate you guys getting involved in the chat tonight. It's been over 2 hours. It's absolutely flown by. But we really appreciate you guys getting involved as always. Alex has said Canvey signing Harrison Chatham is huge. I personally don't know the name. Maybe you do, Adam. Does it a name that rings the bell?
I think it's going to probably be really naive of me not to know him. He's probably some ex-pro or something, though, in my knowledge.
Right. Dan has followed it up by saying Harris and Chatting is a quality player. Again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know who it is that they're talking about. I honestly don't know.
Opinions.
Sorry?
I trust those two opinions, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. I trust them far more than I do my own because I don't know the blokes. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you all and say that I know what I'm talking about. So there is that. Difficult start for Leicester. Michael Knightley just signed for Russell. That's a big
Knightley, flipping act.
Yeah, big signing. Legend Kev Horlock will do wonders given time. Yeah, and I think he's already starting to show that, to be honest.
Yeah, really.
And Drew says it'll be interesting to see how Redditch will look on Saturday. Being bottom last year and a lot of issues going on when they last visited definitely looks promising from a Needham perspective. I think, Adam, we're going to wrap things up there. It's been a bumper show. Absolutely.
It's not going to be this long every week. It's just we had so many different competitions and stuff to go through this week. Yeah. So it's always going to be a long one. And the topic that we did went really, really well.
Far better than I thought, to be honest. I thought maybe people would be kind of sick and tired of that discussion because it's something that had been talked about during the whole summer. But still, it's clearly an issue that some people just can't get off their chest.
It's good to talk.
It's good to talk. It's very, very good to talk. So, yeah, we are going to wrap things up there, guys. Before we do, again, a shout out in terms of our partners. If you want to get involved with that, contact Adam via Twitter. And he will make sure that we can do something for you. Just DM him and he'll discuss it all with you, what it's about, how you can get involved, etc. But a massive thank you to all of the clubs that signed up to it. All of your names are on the screen here. We do appreciate you guys getting involved. And as always, a massive thank you to all of our supporters of the channel, whether or not you're in the chat, whether or not you're in the comments, whatever it may be. If you are one of the guys who puts your, pocket where your mouth is, so to speak. I don't know how you'd really phrase that, but if you're one of those guys who are on screen at the moment, we really appreciate what you do for the channel. It really, really does mean a lot and helps to go towards the running cost of what it is that we're doing. We love doing this. We're happy to sit here and do it and pay for it ourselves. But if people want to get involved with it, the Patreon is a monthly option and it's available in the description. Go and have a look, see if it's something that interests you. And if you are interested, then let us know. The Ko-fi one is a one-off donation. Price of a coffee, you can help towards the running cost of the show. If you want to get involved like these guys, and
to do a coffee,
definitely. And finally, we've talked about it already. If you want to get involved in the Super Six, let us know. The link we will put on Twitter after the show will be massively appreciated. Let's just have some fun with this throughout the season. If you want to get involved in it, just let us know. Fill out the form. Just send in your predictions, and we'll see what happens.
I think let's see what happens. 15 in already.
How many?
15.
Wow.
Already. So we are going down the league table. I expect this to grow. So thanks a lot, everyone. Really appreciate it.
There you go. Bourne Vale, money where your mouth is. That's the phrase I was looking for.
I was laughing under my breath.
Exactly. You guys wouldn't have seen that, but Adam's just there like, oh, you idiot, you absolute idiot. It's been 2 hours and 8 minutes. What can I say, guys? I'm it's been a long weekend. I'm exhausted. Alex, great show again, lads. Yes, thank you very much, guys, for joining in. Drew, great show as always, guys. Enjoyed it. Roll on next week's football. Tony, top show, lads. Irvin, say good, nice viewing. Thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate that. Dan, great show, gents. See you next week. Michael saying, come on, Stowtown. Match day experience this week, James. If I'm being honest, I don't know. And I'm not just saying that as a flippant remark. The wedding stuff that happened this weekend is having a roll-on effect to next weekend, and I am trying to put forward my case that I was there for 4 days. I shouldn't have to do any more, but I think my attendance is expected.
I'm free on Saturday, James. If you need that to add in as extra,
Okay. We'll talk. Yeah, I don't. It's I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to plan maybe something either during the week or maybe during next week and then a Saturday. So we have 2 match day experiences as well as the the live show. But I'm not entirely sure at the moment. I'm trying my hardest to get out of it. I really am.
In a couple of weeks' time, what we're trying to aim to do is that there's going to be weeks where we're going to be able to bring a match day experience from both of us. I probably should have announced this earlier in the show when there are more people on, because I know some people have logged off because it's late. But there will be times now where we can get an extra match day experience on, go and experience more of your clubs and show more content off. So that opportunity has now come in. I can't start earlier, Irvin. I know he's just put that on start at 8 or 7:30. I've got a 3-year-old and he just doesn't go to bed.
Yeah. So I have to admit,
30.
I echo those. Unfortunately, the good nights I can get my little one down by 7. The bad nights are 7:30, 8 o'clock. We've picked 8:30 for
9 on my part.
We have picked 8:30 for a reason, because it fits in with our lives, if that makes sense. So I know what you're saying.
We'll take the rough with the smooth on the viewer count, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Bourneville, great show. Good luck to everyone who stick to our opponents for the weekend. Love it.
Just for anyone that's worried, I've monitored the views tonight and we've had double what we've had for any other show.
Really?
Thank you so much to everyone that's been part of this. It's been brilliant.
That's mad. Thank you so much, guys. I did not know that. It's brilliant, because that's I didn't really know where this show was going to be going in terms of week by week, but to have that engagement this week has been absolutely massive. So we can't thank you enough. If you have watched this on YouTube, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you are on Twitter, retweet the link for somebody to watch at a later point. If you're on Facebook, share it for somebody to watch later on as well. If you're watching this on catch up, thank you so much for sticking with us for the 2 hours that you have done. If you're one of those people that has been involved in the chat tonight, You've made it. You've absolutely made the show what it is, and I can't thank you enough for everyone that gets involved, guys. We really appreciate everyone who's in the chat. Dan, great show, guys, as always. Maybe speak to Radio Suffolk to get on the radio on a Monday night with the show, because remember, it's the best in Suffolk.
I am literally Alan Partridge in real life, so that must be quite humorous.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in with the show. We will see you next week, next Monday. Well, I will. Adam won't, because I don't know what he's doing, but he won't be here. Remember, Dan, if you're still involved in the chat, DM me, my friend. We'll talk. We'll see who we can get on as a guest host for next week's show only. But as always, until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
Adios.